national schools. Retirees get access to their children and grandchildren visiting benefits to the higher international schools. And I'm gonna tell you, I know in DR, maybe even in Colombia, that's where the wealthy people go.
That's true.
The wealthy people go to those English speak, even the natives, not just if you're someone who is from DR. So if you're from DR and you're sending your kid to that international school, you got some money.
Yeah.
You had the benefits of going there yourself and a discount. And so your children are already going to be around influential people. Ronan, well, I'll let Andre welcome you to the show, but welcome, brother.
Shout out to my man Ronin in the building. I've been on live streams with Ronin before. Good man, great information. You guys should have a pen in hand. We're talking about that Theo Coop level type of information that's going to be shared. The Theo Coop level. So make sure that you guys, if you need this information, or you know how we do, guys, when we mention something, we try to drop the receipts, or in other words, drop the website. So if you guys have any websites that you guys come up with, while you're talking or conversing, drop it in the comments section, because a lot of times we'll be talking about something and then a person will be like, man, I wish now what did he just say? He said, how was it pronounced? But if we just drop the websites in the comment section, those receipts help out a lot of guys. So anytime you guys come up with something, do us a favor and just drop the receipt, Ronin and Fearless, in the comment section.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
Now.
Hey, I just want to do a quick mic check. I sound like I'm dragging, I think. I'm not sure. How do I sound?
Crackling a little bit, just a little crackling.
Yeah. I might need to reboot and come back, but
okay,
sounds like I was lagging a little bit.
Let me, while you're doing that, I'll hit these super chat. Shout out to my man Fearless once again, always supporting the channel. And Fearless says this. I'm going to listen to you. And Fearless says this. He say, for the love of the stream, rep those in Texas, them Texas boys. Yes, sir. Shout out to you, Texas boys. He say, for real, Andre, that was a huge issue for me in Germany. A huge issue with let me a big pit. I don't even want to assume what statement was made in regards to that, but let me know what is it that was a huge issue for you while you were in Germany, because it may impact somebody else. And my man Ethan's in the building. Shout out to you, brother, for even being here, man. I appreciate you being here. With the 100,000 Colombian pesos. I appreciate that, brother, showing the love. He said, I'm a U.S. Navy veteran. He says, of 24 years living in Medellin. See, it's a lot. Man, it will amaze you how many vets live in Colombia. Now that you're either living here or it's so many vets that visit here that you think that person lives here. It is a lot of y'all that live here, man. And I just love it, man, because you guys get a chance to, you know what I like about it, Fearless? I like the fact that it's almost like a reunion of military dudes that never met each other. Because you could come to a country, like if dudes that go to DR, all of a sudden you see all these Marines meeting up with each other in DR. And then now you got Marines hanging out with Navy dudes, hanging out with Air Force. You see what I'm saying? You never would see that in the military. But now all of a sudden you see them all coming together under the umbrella of being veterans. I remember a couple of months ago. No, this was actually last year. My man TA was here, ex-Navy dude. And there was a brother that he was an officer. And he was at the point where by the time he retired, he was about to make some money. And he was going to walk away with like $7,000 a month, right? Plus he has investment properties and everything else. And I'm going to come back to you in a second, E. And he's ETN. I say Ethan, but it's ETN. And so we're sitting there having lunch, and the brother said, guys, if I stay in the military 3 more years, I'll be making $8,500 a month. What do you guys think? I'm making 7,000 plus. Should I stay in for the other 8,000? I said, didn't you just say you got investment properties and You got money put to the side and you took care of the kids already. And I say the one thing that you can't get back, and this would now this is like I said, this is a Marine brother, and the brother TA, he's Navy. And we were all agreeing on one thing. Shout out to Ronin being back. He said we all agreed on one thing, that you can't get time back.
Yes, right.
I said that 3 years that you're going to be busting your butt to get another an extra 1,000 or extra 1,500 a month. You can't get that time back. If you're making 7,000 a month in most countries, including the United States, you're doing all right. But if you're taking it overseas, you really doing all right. So what's the point of wasting another 3 years of life that you can't get back just to make another $1,100-$1,200 a month, and you already have investment properties? But that conversation came about because a Navy dude had a chance to sit down with an Army dude under the umbrella of being veterans. And that's what made it so cool.
And Ronin, you may be able to help me out with this, but I just spent, maybe it's about 3 weeks ago. Remember we were talking, I said there was a gentleman who came from DR and he got in the military. He got his citizenship like in 6 months or something like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But what he was telling me was there was a person he was stationed with, an older gentleman, maybe not that old, but everywhere he would go, the guy would live off base. And because he lived off base, the military would either buy his house or he have a house that he'd go.
Mm-hmm.
He lived in 4 different places. And he said instead of selling the house, when they would send him somewhere else, he just rent that house out. And so his 4th house that he's living in is his house, but he's renting out 3 more.
Wow.
So he said, you know, he got a 15-year loan on him, his veteran loan or however he does it. So in 15 years, all of those houses are paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's his retirement. And it's nothing that he's done special. It's just every time he gets stationed, he, instead of selling the property, he holds on to it. And that's the way he does it. And
Very smart.
Yep.
Very smart.
And Andre, I know that you hit on this, and I do not understand, because what you identified was a gap. Gaps are where you make money. And Ronin, you should be doing this. You said you tried to look up military benefits and things about expats, and you really couldn't find them. Why isn't someone doing a YouTube on that?
I do not get that. I did not. I swore that I was going to run across at least 5 or 6 YouTube channels with expats. I mean, with military, because all these military dudes are traveling and going to all these places. So I'm automatically assuming there's got to be at least 5 or 6 YouTubers out there that's doing military. Nope, no black dudes, no white dudes, nobody. And I came across this one dude named John. Let me see what John's last name is. I have it on because I got an interview. I'm setting up an interview schedule with him for next week. I forget what John Thomas. He's on TikTok. He's like the veteran that lives outside of the United States, and he promotes it. He promotes getting your education, and then he promotes relocation, and that's all John Thomas talks about. He talks to politicians. He talks anybody that will let him have a microphone. This one dude he will sit back and talk to them, and so I'm excited about having him on the show in the up and coming weeks because and I just talked to him in an email just a couple minutes ago. And no, I talked to him on TikTok and he just sent me an email. And so it's amazing how he was the only one that had back to back him and another dude that I'm going to bring up in a split second. I'm going to bring his video up, an older dude that lives in Panama that's ex-military. So let me pull his video up real quick and let you guys see this older gentleman and what he has to say about being ex-military but living in the United States, or what the United States is like, and that's why he moved to Panama. Let me pull this video up real quick.
The United States is no longer a land of opportunity. Let me explain. In the last 20 years, health insurance premiums have increased 41%. The average single payer paying through group health is paying on average $703 a month. Family of 4 is paying on average $1,997 a month. That same time period, home prices have increased 5.6 times. The average income has only increased 3.2 times. The life insurance ownership in the United States has decreased from 77% to 51%. Of those people asked, 44% said that they would be financially destitute in 6 months or less if one wage earner in the household passed away. Generation X and older millennials, highest credit card debt in history. In history. Seniors are paying 10% of their fixed Social Security income to property taxes. Here's a big one. The number of children that people are having right now has decreased 20% over that time period. It's a recipe for disaster.
I'm going to pause it right there for a split second, guys. I'm going to pull myself up in regards to this. Don't let what he just said. Oh, I'll just pull all of us up. Don't let what he just said, because we're going to go back to that video in a second because it's really short, but it's detailed.
It's very
important.
impactful.
Children, the birth rate of children in the United States as well as globally has declined. That means that's going to impact those who receive Social Security. Remember, Social Security is a pay it forward program. That means that one generation pays for the next generation that were behind them, and then the next generation who's coming down the turnpike will pay for theirs, and then the ones that come next. In other words, it's always the generation behind that pays for the benefits of the one that's ahead. The least amount of children being born, that means less and less people putting into Social Security, putting into taxes, making sure. That's why so many countries right now, a lot of people don't want to admit this. One of the number one resources in the world right now is the human resource.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about slavery. I'm talking about countries are purposely making sure that they make it easy as possible for veterans to come live in our country, for college students to come live in their country. You need a visa? Don't worry. You don't need to go back to the States. Come on over here to Portugal, or come on over here to Colombia. The humans, people that will be able to help with the economy of a country, that's one of the top resources in the world right now, not just gold, silver, and oil. And a lot of people don't realize that.
You think let's talk about this. We talk about like Asian companies or countries, and like they're a monolith, like they all look the same, like, and this is no thing, like Japan, that's what they cater to. We all look similar, and we're fine with that. Their birth rate is so low that they say, brothers, come on over. They're willing to change their culture because their birth rate is so low that they know that if we don't have children, that we can't support the next generation. And we're willing to bring in people from other countries to mate with our females and males so that we can have enough people to support our economy. Because the statistics I wrote, they're at a record low, and half the people under 30 don't want to have, not only unmarried, but don't even want to have children.
Like in the United States,
yep,
30% of all young men under the age of 30 are not even having sex.
Yep. So if you're not having children, like you said, that is your retirement. Like I'm working and I'm putting money aside, but it's actually the people that come before me that are actually going to be paying me my Social Security or my retirement. And if you don't have that workforce, when it comes time for you, there's nobody there to support you. There's nobody there for your retirement. And when other countries are that desperate, you know that there's an issue.
Yes, sir. Let me hit this chat real quick, and then I saw Ronin drop something in the private, so I know he might want to pull that up, or he may want us to share that. So let me pull up ETN real quick once again with the 100,000. And he says this, I am a U.S. Navy veteran of 24 years living in Medellin. He say 100%.
Yep.
He say passive income from stocks. That's what I'm talking about. And book sales. Shout out to you, man. He's doing it, man. And the original passport, bro. He say the original passport, bro book. Shout out to you, brother. Which needed to be done. Shout out to you. We got my man Kenny Jones in the building. Shout out to you.
And I know we're talking about people who
hello, Kenny. You're on mute.
Kenny's on mute. And there's a good opportunity. I think you were talking about it. If you're in the military, you don't actually have to have all of your content about the military. Think about David Goggins. David Goggins, he was in the military, but he caters to people who are not in there.
True.
Hey, how did I use my military skills to get to where I'm at. That means I had to have a routine. If you ever hear, and Ronin, you can probably attest to this. I know that I've dated girls whose father was in the military, and it's like a regiment. Like, hey, we're up at 6. You make your bed. It was like they know a routine. It's a whole different ball game when you're dating someone whose father is in. Even with males, when their father is in the military, there's like a routine, a set. There's a structure to their life. It's not always past.
I have noticed that about women that have military fathers. They are more structured and more routine than the average woman. I did notice that. Shout out to you, Kenny.
Yeah.
Hello, Kenny.
Yeah, I can hear you, Dre.
Okay, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. Just getting back into church.
Okay, what do you have to put towards this particular topic tonight?
Well, I mean, I can relate to the travel because I went to Korea back in 08 to 09. Beyonce, South Korea. Then after Korea, then went back home for a little while. Then went to Fort Carson, Colorado. Then went to Afghanistan, Kandahar. That's in South Province of in Afghanistan.
Okay. And let me ask you this, Ken, in regards to being a vet, Army vet, as I can tell. What is it that you have noticed that? Let me ask you this: are you still in the States or are you out of the States, Ken?
No, I'm still in the state.
What are your future plans?
Get more therapy help from the VA. They have something in the DR, but I got to get more information about it. I don't know if the VA covered that. I had to give you that information, but that's what some veterans are going there to get therapy. They're not getting that much therapy here in the United States.
I put that in the chat, Kenny. So there's a Juvante in Sosua, Puerto Plata, and Santiago. So it's a
drop that one more time.
That's what I was talking about.
Fearless. Yeah, drop that one more time. All right. And now for the link that you dropped in the private, Ronin.
Do the one with myhealth.va.gov.
Okay. Let me pull that up.
See if that's going to come up on you guys.
Give me a second. I'll pull this up for you. For us. Like I said, guys, be ready to take notes tonight. And let me present that on the screen.
By the way, Dre, you did life insurance, didn't you, Andre?
Oh no, I hadn't done I didn't do life insurance yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my background is life insurance, health insurance, financial planning, and retirement. So
I need to talk to you. Yeah, I need to talk to you. We definitely, we need to talk, bro. Let me pull this up.
It disappeared.
Here we go.
I want to see if that comes up. Okay.
I pay all this money to teleprompter people.
This website specifically, I don't know what the background noise is, but this website.
Ken, you might want to mute yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, as you were saying.
All right. So this website specifically is for all veterans that are already service discharged, but they are getting feedback from Kenny.
Hey, Ken, make sure you mute yourself. Oh, okay. He dropped himself down. Okay, cool.
So as you can see, you can set up appointments. You can send messages directly to your general practitioner, any other doctors that you're associated with. A lot of guys have mental disorders or PTSD. They suffer from that as well. All their doctors can be reached online. So the military has come a long way, especially with the veterans, when it comes to outlining their benefits, able to reorder their pharmacy or their pharmaceuticals automatically and have them mailed out to them. So their pharmaceuticals prescriptions come directly to them.
Oh, wow.
They don't have to go to a pharmacy anywhere and pick it up. They can actually have it shipped to them. So the system itself is very robust, and up to speed when it comes to technology. So it makes it real convenient when instead of you having to get on a phone and wait in line, you can send an immediate message to your general practitioner or the attending nurse of your general practitioner, ask them a question, or request a direct appointment. So you can actually get online and set up an appointment with, say you have an orthopedic issue. You can get with your orthopedic doctor and try to set up and schedule an appointment automatically through the system. So where you got public health through Obamacare, this takes it one step further, because even with your general practitioner, say you have an HMO, you have to go to your general practitioner in order to get referred to a specialist. This is like having a PPO plan where you can go directly to whoever you need to see and schedule an appointment without asking permission first.
All right. Now let me ask you this, because is this mainly just for individuals that are still in the States, or is there anything that you might have that
this should work overseas as well, as long as you have a VPN. The VPN will give you a United States IP address so that you can access, because a lot of the security functions stop when you go overseas. So if you're trying to access it over a VPN, I think you should have access to the online portal so you can still communicate with your doctors and do scheduling. And like you said, there's several hospitals overseas, like the Philippines has one in Manila. You named some in the DR and also in Colombia. So, where there was a U.S. presence and where some of the bases might have closed, the VA stayed active. Okay. So you still have VAs in those cities or those countries where there might have been a base that might, because of downsizing and base closures, they might have closed the base, but the VA still remained when it came to the hospital and treatment. And then right along with TRICARE, and even like I'm service connected 100% permanent. So I'm getting disability right along with my my VA services. TRICARE is part of the services when you retire after 20 years. So you can go 20 years and you retire, and then you have what they call TRICARE, aside for the VA. That also gives you outbound access to private doctors. And then the nice thing with Obama, when he was in office, he allowed us to challenge staying within the VA system. Say we don't have confidence in that doctor. No longer back in the days where you were trapped in that network, where you had to deal with that inexperienced VA doctor that's just trying to get his time and service in treating veterans so he can go open up a private practice. Now you can actually request to be referred out to a private doctor, and the VA pays for it.
Let me ask you this before you go any further. Why do you think that there are quite often veterans that find the process, the bureaucratic process, a little bit challenging at this point? Because I still hear guys complain about, man, it took me this amount of time, and then I had to do this, and I had to go through that. And so why do you think that some guys still have a complaint about? And if some of you guys in the comment section, if you have had issues as of over the last couple of years when it comes to getting certain things processed, put something in the comment section. If you haven't, cool, but if you have,
right,
like Charles says, Charles Moreland says, he said TRICARE is for retirees, is not cheap.
Right. So the preferred method is obviously get your service connection up. And anybody that served, especially in the recent times, you should have service connections due to your service overseas and abroad in a war-torn situation or a duty station. So a lot of us, and why it's so easy a lot of times now, more so than ever before. In Vietnam era, oh my God, the VA system was tore up from the floor up. Okay, it's getting gradually better. And I've watched it transition and transform itself. But a lot of the older veterans, we actually have the hardest time getting our service connections. Whereas the newer military guys that are getting out because of Afghanistan and newer, a lot of their stuff is already digitized, it's already been documented, and they'll walk out with maybe a 30 to 50% service connection automatically. Whereas you have Vietnam vets that are still fighting based on trying to find medical records and histories and tracking different things and different records being burned, that they get delayed. And to me, you can go with the conspiracy theory that they're trying to age us out or allow us to die out so they don't have to pay us what they owe us. A lot of us veterans have conspiracies on about a lot of different things on why they drag their ass with us versus the newer veterans. But like I said, the newer veterans are able to come out with a lot higher service connections without having to argue or fight for their disabilities versus somebody that I'm Gulf War era. You got Korean vets and Vietnam vets that are still fighting to get Agent Orange attached to them. I have Gulf War syndrome. We had anthrax. We had different medications that were experimental that we had to take. There was no choice. You got stuck. There was no, I can't do this and it's not my right. No, you got stuck. So when the pandemic came up and everybody argued about a shot, who cares? We took the shot. But at the end of the day, there's so many after effects from being in Gulf War or being in any type of war. You got different types of gases that are being exposed to you while you're in a battlefield. Things get kicked up in the sand, depending on what exploded in that area, if there's any radioactivity from it. There's so many after effects when it comes to being in a battle or being in any type of war-torn situation that start to get you traveling down that road of your disabilities. A lot of people suffer from PTSD. I mean, to be in a war-torn situation and actually realize how brutal it is to see what you see. But the thing with the military is they teach you to compartmentalize everything you see and to push it back. Don't deal with it. We need to carry on. We need to achieve a mission, and all these things get so pushed down in our system. And like you said earlier, a lot of us are in the military, active, full-blown, doing what we need to do. Next thing you know, you're out on the streets. Did they take any time to deprogram you? You're actually programmed when you go in the military. The reason why you go through boot camp is they break down what you normally are used to doing to get you doing the things that they want you to do without thought process, muscle memory. Things like that start to come into play when they deal with you and they start training you. They don't deprogram you. They just let you get out. So all those compartmentalized issues and traumas that you dealt with while you were in and that you witnessed right in front of your face, you never dealt with them. But if you're married, you have children, what becomes your next mission when you get out of the military? Your children, your family. You never go back and touch the things that you compressed or compartmentalized ever until you get to a point where you have midlife crisis. I just have a buddy right now. He's a very successful guy in insurance. His kids grew up, and I had the same thing on my second divorce. You start doing self-reflection when you go through empty nest syndrome, or you've gone through your last divorce and all your kids are grown. You get what I'm saying? Now you have no other mission but you. And now it's time to fix everything that you put off because they taught you just to ignore all your pains and your trauma. Now it's just you and your traumas. And so that's when you start going through the process of like, damn, why am I jittery? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? You start realizing all the things you just pushed off because we were trained in the Marine Corps. Unless you're dead, get the fuck up and keep moving. There is no time to worry about little things. You know what I mean? You keep freaking trucking down the road until the mission's done. Then you get your next mission, your next mission, your next mission. You never deal with those issues. You never stop moving forward. So we prioritized our kids. We prioritized our wife. We made sure they had everything to the nth degree. The gentleman's gentleman. That's what we do. But at the end of the day, when you're sitting there staring at yourself in the mirror, that's when you finally wind up realizing there's so many different things that you've experienced, loss of friends that you witnessed die right in front of you that you didn't have time to mourn. All these things start coming back up and bubbling back up on you, and they can materialize not only mentally but physically. So I mean, I don't want to keep talking until you guys got questions for me, but I'm just giving you a background on the mentality of how, how much military guys have to deal with things and without the therapies, without admitting to yourself that you need help, because we're so built in our heads to ignore things. We're in denial of our own treatments. We're in denial of our own need for treatment. We're still these badass guys. And at the end of the day, if you think about it, military guys are not the straightest guys in the room. We're a little insane. You got to be if you want to sit there and walk at bullets. We have this thing where it's a fight or flight situation.
Right.
Everybody that's in the military has been in combat. We're fight. We're not flight.
Charles says
We
that's
run
right.
that shit.
Yeah, Charles says that's me right now.
Yeah.
My man IQS, shout out to you being in the building. He said Ronin is correct. He said hit me at 19-year-old mark in the military. He said I was 37. And you've got my man Victory, and as well as Ronin. I'm glad Vic as well as ETN is here for a moment, because these are guys that are kind of like traveling, or in Victory cases planning on relocating outside the United States.
Right.
Can I address? I'm going to address something real quick before they
Go ahead. Take your time.
I asked the question. Fearless, what is their suggestion as far as savings for your last 2 years in life? When I started my job, they asked a question. The question was, when are you going to start thinking about retirement? And if you're young in your 20s, you're like, oh man, I get 40, 50. No. It's like today is the day you start thinking of retirement.
Right.
So the question is, what do you do in the last 2 years of your life? The problem is most of your expenses are going to be Medicare or some type of medicine or something like that. So do you have long-term health insurance or care insurance? A lot of times you're going to be spending all your money in hospice. Are you getting like a long, if you're in your 40s and you're getting you're in your 50s, you're getting a 30-year loan on your house that you're never going to pay off. You should have got a 15-year loan. Maybe you can do a reverse mortgage and help out with that. What are your savings accounts like? Your family support or the gaps that you have. So that's the issue. If you see, when you go to Walmart and you see those people, they're not working for the money. They working for health insurance because they got to pay that.
True. That's true.
They're not retired, not because of money. It's just they can't afford the medicine. So that's a lot of your expenses there. So you're going to have to take care of that. A lot of guys don't do estate planning.
True.
You have no idea. You're going to either leave a cost to your people. You're not taking care of yourself. You have not planned for any type of your life. You can't wait until that time to start planning. It's way too late. So that's the first comment. The statement I would ask these guys are, what would you guys have done different? You guys have been in the military. You're getting out or you're coming out. If I was a person about to go in the military, or I'm in the military now, what advice would you give me to say, hey, this is what I would do so that you can make sure your retirement is better, that you're healthier when you're out? All of those questions that would help someone who gets out of the military be much more successful and not have to jump through the hoops that Ronin is referring to.
Well, that's a good question. Let's start with Victory, and then we can go to ETN in regards to that. Looking back, Vic, you either just fresh in the military your first year or two, or you are just coming in, you getting some tips from the guys that's been in for a while. Looking back in hindsight, what advice would you have given yourself or to others who were coming into the military, male or female? What advice would you have given them now that you're looking back?
The only advice, if you guys can hear me good, can you hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shout out to all the chats, all the veterans. You guys, appreciate your service. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and also, like you, Ronin, a Desert Storm veteran, so I understand they gave us the anthrax, they gave us those white pills. They just told us to take them. They weren't documented in our medical records ever, but they just said, give us these pills. And, a lot of us veterans come out with certain situations and not knowing, why they are why we are the way that we are. One thing that I would say is to make certain everything, every injury in your medical history in the military is documented.
Amen.
Because when you get out of the military, that will play a huge part in your service-connected disability compensation. Okay. That is one thing that I always give to military people. I come across military guys, no matter what branch of service that they're in, I would definitely make certain document every injury, because just because it may heal while you're in, it doesn't mean that later on that it won't come back up as a disability. So if you have taken care of it, if you had it documented in the military, and then you're suffering from it 10, 15 years down the line, then you can go back to where that first incident happened and you can file for service-connected disability.
Correct.
Also, a lot of veterans don't know. First of all, I'm a disabled veteran. I'm 100% permanent total also. I also held the position as a veteran service officer. I live in West Palm Beach, Florida. So I was a veteran service officer for Palm Beach County for a certain amount of time. I also got my 100% P&T on my own as well. You have to study that thing. And I'm actually helping veterans out right now with making sure they have the right forms to file in reference to their service-connected disability. A lot of people don't know that there is, with the VA, what you call a 70-40 rule. The 70-40 rule is that you can be 70% disabled with more than one service-connected disability, like you might have a knee injury and a back injury, or some type of hernia injury and PTSD or whatever, and you're rated at 70%. If one of those disabilities are 40% or more, then you can put in for what is called TDIU. TDIU is called Total Disability Individual Unemployability. Okay? You can put in for that, and you can get payment at the 100% rate, although you're 70%. Okay? That's called TDIU. Or there's another situation, and all this is on va.gov. You can bring up TDIU and VA TDIU, and it'll show you exactly how to obtain that compensation. Or you can have one single disability that's rated at 60%. And you can, if you feel like, you want to obtain let me back up a little bit. This is for people who decide that they want to retire, they're no longer working, or they can't work anymore because of their service-connected disabilities. Okay? But let me go back into it. You can have one service-connected disability at 60%, and that's the only service-connected disability you have, and you can file for TDIU, Total Disability Individual Unemployability, and you'll get the disability compensation at the 100% disability compensation rate, although you're at 60 or 70%.
I have a question for you, Vic, or even Will. Shout out to Will being here. My man IQS International Quiet Storm says this. He said, do you recommend service members to have extensive knowledge of CFR 38?
Title 38, definitely, because Title 38 breaks down all the disability percentage ratings and the diagnosis within each disability percentage. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Okay. For mental health, whether it be PTSD or whatever, They have a 100% rating, 70% rating, 50% rating, 30% rating, 0. Okay, it's not 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 up to 100. They break it down in those specific disability categories. Each category have the disabilities that you're suffering, and it goes up as it worsens. So you can have, at the 100% disability rating, for PTSD, you can have the certain diagnosis in there, and that falls under that disability compensation rate. So you look under that rating and you say, hey, these are the things that I'm suffering from. All right. And you explain that to your mental health counselor, whether it be psychologist, psychiatrist, or when you go to your VA evaluation for compensation and pension increase or whatever. So you go in there and you let them know that, hey, these are the disabilities that I'm suffering from. Now, under Title 38 for 100% disability for like PTSD, there's like 8 bullet points. You do not have to suffer from all 8 bullet points. If you suffer from 2 or 3 of those disability bullet points, and you suffer from that in your everyday life, then that rating will get you, that those bullet points, the evaluator has to put that in your records, in your evaluation. And that's what allows you to obtain the 100% disability rating. So, and I know that because, I've studied the Title 38 as part of my job as a veteran service officer. So,
all right. Before we go to my man ETN, how does a person know that they're eligible for the TDIU?
Okay, TDIU is based on 2 categories. Like I mentioned before, it's called the 70-40 rule, where you're 70% disabled, but you have multiple disabilities at 70%, but at least one of your disabilities is rated at the 40% rate. So you might have a disability, you might have tinnitus at 10%, you might have a back injury at 30%, and you might have PTSD at 40%. And that totals up to 70%. Okay. Being that you're 70% with multiple disabilities, and one of those disabilities are at 40%, and it's affecting your work life, and you can't work because of your service-connected disabilities, then you're eligible to file for total disability individual unemployability, because you're 70% with at least one of those disabilities being at 40%. So you would be eligible to file a claim with the Veterans Benefits Administration to receive the TDIU. Okay. Or you can have one disability at 60%, and that 60% disability is affecting how you work. It's making it difficult for you to adapt to the work environment. You're also eligible for TDIU. And one more thing also, you can be retired. You can be at the retirement age, but still desire, you could be at the retirement age and you can still, and say like you're at 60%, you have one disability for PTSD, which is at the 70% rating. You can still file for TDIU and get TDIU, although you're at retirement age. So those are the 2 ways you can receive TDIU, and it's that one disability at 60%, or the 70-40 rule, where your disability is at 40%. Your disability is at 70%, but one of your disabilities are rated at 40%. So,
all right, thank you very much, Vic. Very thorough information. Before we go to Will, we're going to go to my man ENT in Medellin, Colombia. And I've got a question for you, ENT. Since you've been in Colombia, this time that you've been in Colombia, have you had any difficulties when it comes to your benefits, receiving benefits, getting assistance or help with anything? And the reason why I say that, because you live outside the United States as a veteran, and a lot of guys want to live, but they're not sure if everything will translate as time progresses. They feel like initially, okay, I got my direct deposit and everything's set up like Fearless was recommending, and I followed the blueprint that Ronin had, and then I'm listening to what Wills have to say initially. But now I'm on year 7 or 8 and something happens. And I'm like, oh shoot. How has it been for you since you've been living outside the States as a veteran?
Well, good evening to the panel, Mr. Andre. Salute to the panel. I would first like to start by saying that I had listened to Mr. Ronin a few YouTubes back, and the guy is so spot on. He's one of the few people that I've ever seen on YouTube where his information is so valuable, he should be charging an hourly fee for it. That's one. Also, to Mr. Fearless, I viewed your YouTube collaboration with the young and very talented Austin Holloman. It took me back to my mentorship days back when, as a senior enlisted in the military, where you have those young prodigies and you pouring that vital information into them to make them even that much more better. So I salute you on that. I thought that was a very, very influential interview. And for all the young brothers out there that saw that interview, that interaction and that collaboration with you and Mr. Holloman was priceless. That was quintessential mentorship in my view. And to you, Mr. Andre, I've always admired you. I first come to know about your channel via the great Russell Taylor.
Mr. Military Man
I've been
himself.
a fan ever since then. And you two guys alone inspired my book. The title is a little bit misleading because it's titled The Passport Bros, but it's really about Black men performing at the highest level on the international stage, highly representing cultures that have not ever dealt with the African American man, a high valued African American man, I should say. But as someone that I've been overseas for several years. I spent most of my military career overseas, to include a year in Kuwait, 4 years in Japan, and 4 years in Sicily, Sigonella, Sicily, real close to the Mount Etna that is always burping and erupting. But I've been in here in Colombia for about 4.5 years. I try to spend half my time in Colombia and half my time in Brazil. And like, Mr. Ronin was talking about TRICARE and things of that nature. A lot of military people need to understand that there are what is the word? With TRICARE,
network.
There you go. In network doctors in Rio de Janeiro and also in Bogota, Colombia. Yeah, not so much in Medellin yet, but in Bogota, Colombia. So when it comes to mental health, PTSD, things of that nature, you are not alone. There is TRICARE for you guys. Also, I'm also in the FMP program. Now, the FMP program, and I do previously I used to frequent the HCA clinic in Sabaneta. However, I realized that I needed a more specialized care. And Medellin has several top tier hospitals within this jurisdiction. So I chose to have a personal doctor, you know, and what that entails that I pay up front, and then I submit my claims, and I get reimbursed on the back end, you know, because and with travel, a lot of you guys that have travel insurance in Medellin, they love to send you to the Las Vegas hospital. Las Vegas hospital to me is not what I would like to have. So I find the best hospital in Medellin, and that's where I have my services from. I buy my medication out of pocket, and I get reimbursed through either TRICARE or the FMP program.
That's what my man Kenny said. He does that. He does that here with Bogota. There's a brother that's here in Cali, but he'll go down to Bogota and he gets reimbursed for a lot of his personal services. But I'm gonna let you finish your statement, and then I'm gonna let Will speak, and then I'm going to ask Will, Victory, and ENT to drop down, because the person who introduced me, he didn't realize it, but really introduced me to the fact of military men that travel around the world, and some of the benefits is the brother that just came up on the screen. This is my man Ja. He is, before there was a Zoom to Thailand, before there was a Chocolate Man to Thailand, this man is set. I've been trying to convince this man to get a YouTube channel for years, and this man is very informative, like the rest of you gentlemen are. But I'm gonna let you guys finish this statement. But this whole live stream started because him and a bunch of other military brothers that I met over the years when I first started my travel introduced me to what you guys go through behind the scenes. I didn't know. Us regular citizens, us mere mortals, you know, we don't know what you guys go through. So from following this brother and his journey, from everything, he was trying to get guys to get into military contracting, and guys wouldn't listen to him. He like, man, y'all guys are missing out. You could be flying out here and making this money. And then when it came to the travel part, and as well as other things, so I've always wanted to get Ja on the channel. So I'm going to let him speak last and do an interview with him, and then I'm going to come back to, but Fearless and Ronin, I want you guys to be here. Ronin, do me a favor, drop the link to your channel. You know how we do, man. We promote all positive YouTube channels here. So make sure you drop the link to the channel so guys can support your channel, because there aren't too many military channels that really cater to what's going on or benefits in the States, as well as, especially, like I said, I only found one dude that's got a YouTube channel and TikTok and Instagram that's for military that travels outside the United States or living outside the United States. So I'm going to let you finish speaking, ETN. My bad.
I appreciate that, sir. But I'm going to drop out too, because I'm not a SME when it comes to these things. Guys like Mr. Victory and the guy that you just mentioned, I'm not familiar with, so I'm eager to hear what he has to say. But if you're a military guy and you're even thinking about living overseas, even if you're not thinking about living overseas, just a few things that Mr. Victory has told you, that puts money directly into your pocket. That puts food on the table for your family. These guys are invaluable to people that are not aware of the different benefits that are out there. So don't scoff on, and I know nobody on the panel is doing it, but for the listeners, don't scoff on guys like Mr. Victory, because these guys are SMEs. SMEs is military jargon for subject matter expert. And let me tell you, these guys are worth their literal weight in gold, because the way that I got to become 100% was different than most other people. I had no idea that people had to struggle to get to 100%. When I retired in 2013 after 24 years and 2 months, they basically just threw 70% at me, and I said, you know what? I was good for about 3 months, and then I realized, let me just throw my service record and my medical record in there. And once I did that, I was pretty much instantly 100% PNT with less than 2 years after retirement. I I did not know that this was. I thought this was common.
Wow.
Because as much as you know about the military, being in the military for as long as I've been in, I thought it was the common thing to do. But I realized after listening to YouTubers and other experts like Mr. Victory and stuff like that, that for a lot of veterans, it's a struggle to get to that 100%. I thought it was just, hey, this is 20 something years of my medical record. It should be pretty obvious. As a matter of fact, I was almost offended the fact that they would give me 70% out the gate. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I didn't know that it was a struggle to get to and where you at. And then there are a lot of people that should be some at a higher percentage that are not. But I'm gonna log out to make room for the people that really matter on this chat. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm just a novice. I'm just a retired old guy that's beat the hell up, and I'm loving life in Medellin. But for the experts like Mr. Victory and then the gentleman that you mentioned that just popped on, you guys and definitely Mr. Ronin, this guy. He talks numbers and he talks money, so he really fascinates me. I love it. I can listen to this guy, him and Neil deGrasse Tyson. I can listen to you guys all day.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank
But
you.
but I don't want to clutter your chat with my stuff. I think your audience would be more valued, more appreciative of these guys that have the actual knowledge. So I'm gonna tap out. Hey, Mr. Andrew, I salute you. Like I say, I have you premiered in my book, and not just for your YouTube channel, but for your inspiration, because I've always was astonished by the stat that 1 out of 4 African Americans have some interaction with the law enforcement industry and in the United States. And I think that's unfortunate. But when I see people like you can see that it's not all about, the gutter part of it. It's like there are true intellectuals in the African American community that just got caught up in this web,
True.
So I love you for that, and I salute you for that, man. And I'll always be honored by Mr. Russell Taylor for basically inadvertently introducing me to your platform. So that's all I have to say about that, man. You gentlemen have a fine evening.
You too, brother.
God bless you.
Will of Thrill is in the building. Let me do, before you say anything, Will, let me go to the super chat real quick. Shout out to my man IQS in the building once again, showing some love. We got 76 people in the building. Click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too, because you already know when you click that like button.
Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth, oh yeah,
that's what we do. We're establishing this as a place of truth. Shout out to you. He said this knowledge is too valuable not to donate. Thank you all. Thanks to all you vets on the panel. Shout out to you guys. Let me let Will go ahead and speak, and then we're going to have my man of the moment of the hour that I appreciate so much, my man Jar, come up and hear what he has to say and really tell and share his story, because I got a few questions for him. Shout out to my man Will in the building.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. First of all, thank you, Andre. Fearless. Appreciate you as well. Ronin, I've been meaning to get with you. I know it's been a minute. I was supposed to send you some, but we'll eventually talk. And to you, Supreme, and to you, Victory Asher, please chime in if I say something wrong. So I'm not actually, the most professional when it comes to all the military stuff, but I did a quick outline. So while in service, right, these are the things that you need to concentrate on. 1, savings. 2, investments. 3, documentations. 4, education. 5, network. 6, trust. Understanding your military pay and VA pay once you get out. If you get VA benefits, 7th, the secondary conditions and how they help you to get to 100. Also, while you're overseas working for while you're overseas, what you have available to you. And eventually I am going to start a channel with YouTube, but right now I'm going to talk about these things and be kind of quick about it. So while you're in service, right, you need to be concentrating on your savings, okay? Your savings is something simple. You should always invest in yourself. Invest like maybe $100 every 2 weeks. I can't tell you how many civilians, government civilians, or even military service members, I say $100 every 2 weeks. You're in your 20s. Why not do this now? By the time you're 50, you're going to have over $1 million plus in the bank, okay? Then you start looking at your investments. Find out what stocks are out there. Look at what Warren Buffett is invested. Look at what, Amazon is invested, what their CEOs are invested in. And those are the things that you can look at. And then the third thing, documentation. Document everything that you go through in the military, okay? A lot of us get lazy with some of those things. But if you ain't willing to write it down, buy your voice recorder. Record that. Understand your medical conditions. Get a copy for everything for your medical history. Trust me, you'll thank me later. It's going to help you, okay? Next, get your education. There's no reason why, if you're in the military, you shouldn't be getting your education. Why are you getting your education? Why? Because it's going to that next thing. Networking, all right? You're going to network with people in the United States. You're going to network with people that's living outside the United States. That's how you get ahead. Now let's talk about some of those the military pay and the VA pay. What is that worth when you retire, right? That's worth anywhere from 1.3 to 1.9 million. That's if you haven't even saved anything. A lot of people don't even realize that, right? If you are a disabled vet, okay, and you're 100% PNT, let's say you get to E7, E8, even if you're E6, it don't matter, right? You got to figure that's like $70,000 to $80,000 before you even start going into the workforce. It is. And so those are things you have to look at. Next, you got to start looking at the secondary conditions. If you got conditions and you're at the, you're static and you're wondering like, well, I'm at 70 or I'm at 80, I'm at 90. Start looking at conditions that attributed to your, your primary conditions. Did you know that if you got PTSD, you can actually link, okay, sleep apnea, I know, I did it, all right, migraines, I did it, okay, I mean, like I say, erectile dysfunction, all that stuff falls in under that. Now that falls under another category, but you get all those things, and once you get all those things, then now you got something to work with. So don't just look at what's in your medical records, because everything might not be in your medical records. You might have some things that happened after you got out of service. And once you got out of service, now what you need to do is say, oh, okay, what are these conditions I'm having now? That's the reason why you document everything, okay? Because like I said, migraines, anxiety, all that stuff is just what happens with you while you're overseas and everything like that, right? You're for medical, far as TRICARE for life or for the VA benefits, did y'all know that the VA and TRICARE actually has a list of doctors? Doesn't matter which country. I know because when I told them I was moving to Colombia, they gave me a list of they gave me the website to go so I could look at all the doctors and everything like that. So I'm already set. Now, also with that being said, okay, you're going to want to get a trust before you leave the United States, or even start this while you're in the military. Under that trust, you want to get that S Corps, you want to get that C Corps, you want to get that LC, you want to get as many tax exemptions as you want, as you need, so that can help you, right? So what's significant about that? Let's say you got a house and you own in the United States. Right now, everybody knows that the interest rate is too high. But if you got a house that's lucrative and it can make you some money, so therefore now you can claim that house, have it inside your trust. Okay, now what else can you do while you have inside that trust? Now, when you go back to the United States, instead of just paying for that ticket, that's a tax write-off. Because why? Your house is in your trust under your C Corps. And that goes for vehicles that you rent. That goes for anybody you take with you. That is a business trip. All right. And what else does that what you can get you from? Because it's out of your name, it doesn't count towards that $110,000 that you're tax exempt from.
True.
That's pretty much what I have to say. Like I said, I know I dropped a lot of knowledge really quick. I was just trying not to take up a lot of time. I actually made an outline, gentlemen, just so I could, be thorough and, what you
outstanding.
say.
That was
and
was
quick.
excellent.
And then what else? The next thing I'm gonna do, I am gonna start a channel, and it's gonna be What Sarge Say. Unfortunately, right now it's so hard for me to do that because trying to move, trying to get everything done, dealing with the lawyers for the trust. I mean, it's like this, trying to keep up with you brothers, because that's important because y'all are my heartbeat for me moving overseas. And so I hope everybody got something about what I said. I mean, Victory, I'm sure that you would agree with the secondary conditions and how people need to get their VA stuff. I've been trying to get people this. I'm going to tell you, I've been giving free knowledge. Mother Hubbards don't want to listen.
Exactly.
I've been telling people how to invest. They don't want to listen. You know what they say? Will, how the hell are you retiring at 56?
Hello.
They don't want to listen.
That's
It's
probably a Will. That was probably the number one comment that I learned from Jar when we were in the WhatsApp group. Dudes do not want to listen. This dude was throwing so much. I kid you not. And I'm not just tooting his brother's horn, no Diddy, but in all sincerity, he was always trying to get guys on board with life opportunities outside the States. Or he would talk about, hey, you get credit card points for this or credit card points for that, or you can the reason why I'm out in this country right now compared to that country. He was always sharing the knowledge of his experience. And what was frustrating, correct me if I'm wrong, Ja, that guys were not listening. They would not do it. He would basically be taking dudes by their hand in regards to, guys, these job openings are in the Middle East, or is these opportunities, they're paying this much a year, so forth and so forth. All you guys got to do is this and that. He'd be describing the scenario and no one would want to listen. And so I'm going to be asking Ja in a second, one of the questions I've always want to ask him, why is it that he believed that guys did not listen? Because you're going through the same frustration, all this great information that you guys are sharing, and yet a lot of guys aren't taking advantage of those benefits. And so I'm going to let you finish, Will, but Ja, just remember, that's going to be one of the questions I'm going to ask you. Why is it that you think that guys just do not want to tune in and listen, but they'll complain about VA, but they won't take advantage of everything before they do all the complaining? So let you finish off with, let me ask you and Victory this question real quick before we go to Ja. Why do you think that guys don't take advantage of other benefits? And you guys are sharing. You got Ronin right there. You got Fearless right there sharing information. Why do you think guys don't take advantage of it?
Because they live it for right now. They're not thinking about their future.
Vic?
And fear of actually leaving the country. So there's always that fear there. I came across it myself at one time, to be honest.
Among military men?
Military guys. Yeah. Once you get settled in the United States, you really, if it's been a long time, you really still have that fear all over again about going to another country. You know that something else is out there, but it's been so long since you've been out there that, you kind of have a fear of going someplace new all over again.
What do you think, Fearless?
Hey, question: how many guys that are stationed overseas remain there? Like, if I'm stationed in Germany, I get married and remain there.
I have a lot of friends that there like in Germany. I lived in Germany for 13 years of my military career, and I wanted to stay there, but they didn't let me stay longer because, for one, they were downsizing, so they were trying to get people out. So there are a lot of people who actually get out and stay in Germany after going back to the United States because they realize that everything's changed back at home. So they just rather stay overseas. And from Germany, they might not just stay in Germany. They might move to Hungary, Italy, Spain. There's just a whole web of places that you can move to from Europe.
Ronin, what you think? What do you think? Why guys just don't take advantage of the benefits out there?
Like I said, there's a lot of programming and reprogramming within the military branches to where you are ignoring your own pains and your own trauma. And it takes a while for you to acknowledge those pains and those weaknesses within yourself to a point where you start reprioritizing, like I said, your wife, your children, other people before yourself. That's one thing about a serviceman is we are of service. That's a key word within servicemen. We are always constantly giving, and in regards to what our own needs are. And it's kind of inbred in us that that's what we do. So we always will come to our own aid last. And that's what it is. A lot of self-denial going on within ourselves that we need any kind of help. Hell, we're tough guys, right? We're in the military. We've done things that people could not fathom. You know what I mean? So why would we feel like we need any kind of assistance or help initially?
That's true. Well, shout out to you guys. I'm glad that you guys made it up to the panel before my special guest came on.
Hey, Dre, if you don't mind me, I want to say one more thing. I know you got to get off. I want to go back to TDIU real quick and then something else. TDIU is for if you do not want to work anymore. Okay, I want to bring that up and make people aware of that. If you do not want to work anymore, if you obtain the TDIU, you obtain a 100% disability rating. If you're at 70% and receive that 100% disability pay, should I say, that pay is this year is $3,738.83, I believe. You'll receive that just like 100% permanent total disabled person will receive. You can't work anymore, but there is a stipulation. I don't want to say you can't work. You can work, but you can only make up to an additional $15,000. Okay, before the VA looks at your taxes, see that you're making more than $15,000. If you are, they'll contact you. What are you doing? We're going to take this TDIU away, and you go back to your 60 or 70% disability rating. So I do want to put that out there. Okay. Number two, when it comes to disability ratings and increases, I see a lot of people saying I'm at 70% PTSD, and they're giving me a hard time. I think I deserve more because of the trauma that I've gone through. Okay. When you go into your appointment and say, if it's physical, and you say, I hurt, it's painful. It's painful. The evaluators, you're going off that. The evaluators, if it's physical, is range of motion. Okay. So that's one of the biggest things. If your range of motion is only, 20% of what you used to do, obviously they're gonna evaluate you. They're gonna give you a higher rating if your range of motion is more at 50%. Okay. If you're, like I said, PTSD, if you say I'm depressed, veterans come in every day saying I'm depressed. All right. You have to tell them exactly what's going on with you based on the disability rating descriptions under the percentages that are in Title 38. Okay, so Title 38, the CFR, you have to take a look at that, see where your disability fall under, where it's 100, 70, 50, 30, or 0, and say, look at the bullet points under each disability percentage and say, hey, this one falls under 70, this one falls under 100, this one falls under 50. You got a couple that, I experienced a couple of them that's under 100% disability rating, and you have to tell the evaluators exactly what you're going through based on what's listed in the Title 38, CFR Title 38. So one more thing, bouncing off what Ronin said, there's post 9/11, there's Chapter 31 benefits, also Chapter 31 vocational rehab, to where you can go to school, the VA pays for it, and on top of your VA compensation gives you a subsistence allowance, non-taxable as long as you are in school. And not only that, if you have dependents, they'll give you additional funding for your dependents as well. So say you have a wife and your wife has a child before you met. You married her, you're responsible for that stepchild. They'll give you compensation for that stepchild. So there's a lot of things. And I know, Andre, you've been talking to me about starting this YouTube channel about helping veterans and stuff like that. And so when you brought that up at the beginning of the live stream, I was like, oh no, I know he's talking about me. But yeah, there's a lot of information. I just wanted to share a little bit about what I know. Dre, you got my number if anyone wants to connect with me. You can give them my number. Feel free to give my number and we can connect with WhatsApp and
okay,
try to hook them up as much as possible. But thanks for having me on the live stream. I appreciate you guys. Great meeting all of you. And I'm a sure job. We're gonna get some really good stuff from you. So I'm waiting to take notes on what you have to share with us as well. You guys have a good night.
Semper Fi, bro.
Semper Fi. Have a good one.
Semper Fi. Dre, I just got two more things and then I'll be quick and out. The next two things I want to talk about, one is debt and two is VA and SSDI. So with debt, right? While you're in the military, try to keep your debt as low as possible. Don't get caught up in keeping up with the Joneses. It's like this. When you retire, you should have minimum to no bills, okay? And that's all I'm going to say on that. For anybody that wants to apply for SSDI, if you're 100% P&T, it's not as simple as you think. Just because you're 100% don't mean you're going to be eligible for it. So one of the things you need to do that really that helps you out a lot, one of the things that I did, because I plan on applying for SSDI, is that because I know I'm retiring, but I'm actually going on. I retire September 30th, but I talked to my VA health provider and asked him for a letter saying, "Hey, I need to travel because I'm under a lot of stress at work. He understands that I went through discrimination, all this other stuff. It's affecting my PTSD. It's giving me anxiety." And he wrote me a letter for that. So now when I go and file that and I get that to my lawyer to file for me, getting that SSDI is not going to be a problem because he understands that I'm under a lot of stress and I got medical documentation to prove that. And that's pretty much all I want to say. I want to thank you guys. Dre, thank you for having me on. Ronin, it was good to talk to you guys, talk to everybody.
Absolutely.
I appreciate everybody on the panel. And y'all have a good night, man. I really appreciate you guys.
Will is real. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Glad that you made it here. All right, and for the man of the moment, let me let you go, Will. And for the man of the moment, my man's Yah. Like I mentioned before, let me get this man a proper introduction. Listen. When I first started coming to Colombia, I met a lot of guys that were military guys, like right out the gate. And we were in a WhatsApp group together, and I met Yah there in the WhatsApp group. And he was not the guy that was in Colombia. He was the guy that was everywhere else but Colombia. And the cool part about Yah was this, how he was sharing so much, like you guys are sharing information today. He was doing this in 2018, 2019, when guys weren't trying to listen. I mean, I'm not even in the military, and I'm taking notes on what the brother is saying about credit card points and traveling to other countries and how you can get these discounts on flights and all. I'm listening to the brother, and so over time, I built this, this really insightful relationship with them in regards to just asking questions and learning a little bit more about the life of military. And then I started doing my own research, because if like I said before, if it wasn't for him, us mere mortals like me wouldn't know what you guys go through in the military behind the scenes, because you guys don't share that part on a regular basis unless we're listening to, NPR or something like that. So shout out to my man Yah being here. Like I said, I've been trying to get this man on this channel forever. First interview I saw with him was like in 2018, 2019. You were on Ace's interview.
Probably 17, 18.
Yeah, that was a while back. Yeah, that was a while. And Ja was the first person. He doesn't know this. He was the first person to really introduce me to the value of a cost of living in another country. What do I mean by that? He was the brother that would show clips of his Airbnbs in other countries, to where you would think in the States that's $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 spot, and he would show you, well, in Thailand I only pay this, or in this part of the country or the world I only pay that. And so from watching this brother, I'm like, so you ain't gotta go broke to live around the world. You know, it's these little things that I picked up from him and being in that WhatsApp group that was valuable for me. So I just want to say shout out to my man Ja being here. Let's get started, Ja, with this in regards to your let guys know what rank, I mean, what not rank, but what branch of the military you were in, as well as where you're currently located.
I was in the Army Reserve, so I was spent most of my career reserve and active reserve when I was in. I did 11 years. Currently, right now, I'm in Thailand. I've been living here for about since the first week of last April.
Are you officially full time in regards to you just go back home to the States part time?
Yeah, I'm full time. This is where I'm living.
I'm happy for you. That's
I moved out of the country back in 2012 when I took my first contracting job in Kuwait. So since then, I normally only go back to the States maybe once a year for like 3 to 5 weeks.
You better than me.
That's enough for me. You know, I'm from Pennsylvania, Florida. That's enough.
Yeah.
I just like my time outside of America a little bit better. You know.
What made you get off into government contracting, Ja? Because you always told guys about the opportunities, but I don't know too many dudes that took advantage of the opportunities that you were saying. Hey guys, you come out to Kuwait, you can do this, do that. Why do you think that? What drew you to doing that, and why you think so many? Two-part questions. What drew you in that direction instead of just staying in the States like a lot of dudes that get out the military do? You decided, let me go into this contract opportunities. And secondly, why do you think that after trying to enlighten guys on economic opportunities out there, that many of the guys didn't take advantage of it like you did?
I would say a lot of people just don't know. Like in the contracting community, I was in the Army, and the contract I've been on was working with the Army. So most of the people that we work with were either prior Army or the ones who never been in the Army that we work with. Normally, their parents or best friend, somebody real close to them, was in the Army, or they live near an Army base. Usually they're from like Fort Hood or the Carolinas. So a lot of people outside of those places just don't know about these jobs, you know. As for me, why did I do it and how I did it was, I first found out about military contracting back when I was stationed, deployed to Iraq. Because of my job in the Army, we had to work with some contractors, and I'm watching these guys making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year.
Right.
And I was networking back then, and I just I didn't take the contracting jobs back then. I should have. I wish I would have, because I had friends or associates that would contract me like, yo, man, come over here, man. They paying $300,000. And I'm watching them not do nothing, like easy jobs. And you know, I end up going back to the States, and then you know, switching different base. You know, staying on active duty orders for a couple of years, and then you get off orders and you try your hand at civilian work. And I really realized that as a civilian, you work way too hard for not enough money. And they talk to you like you ain't crap. And when you in the military, everybody that's a civilian telling you, why you let people boss you around, and you got to work these long hours and you ain't getting paid nothing. You really think you're getting the short end of the shaft. And then you become a civilian. Then you realize military life was not that bad.
Is that true, guys?
That's the way it was for me.
What do you say, Ronin? You're on mute.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. You know, I would have never got out of the military if there wasn't a situation that happened within my family. I would have done my 20. I loved it, literally. And I was full active duty. So he's absolutely right. There's no better feeling of being the camaraderie, the brotherhood, knowing that that guy truly has your back. You ain't going to find it nowhere else.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
So the civilian life was somewhat of a motivator for you, Ja, in regards to going into the contracting.
It was that, and like I said, I'm from Pensacola.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to
Black.
Florida boys.
I started getting into some trouble. Pensacola trouble will kind of find you. And I'm getting in trouble with the law, and they couldn't make nothing stick. And I'm like, yo, eventually they're going to find something. They're going to create a situation. They're going to find something that's going to stick. And I'm going down that road. I got arrested one summer, the summer before I started contracting. I got arrested twice for something I did not do. A DUI on the night that I was the designated driver, not drinking nothing. In Florida, they could take you to jail because they feel like it.
True.
Then a couple weeks later, I get arrested for another situation. I still can't even remember what those charges were for, but both of them were dropped because I didn't do nothing wrong. I had a cop in my city got shot, and I'm just trying to go into this project to go get my laptop from my computer. And because I won't tell this cop who shot this cop, I don't know. I didn't hear about this till I'm pulling up till you tell me. They was arresting everybody that was trying to get into this project. At that point, one of my battle buddies called me and was like, "Hey, you ready to leave? You ready to get out of there?" And I'm like, "Man," he's showing me this pictures of his brand new GT 500 Mustang and his brand new Chevy truck. And to be honest, I'm thinking he's trying to get me to sell some dope or something. He's like, "Yo,
this can't be
I'm
real."
like, "What? I'll do it. Let's go. Or whatever. Get out of here." He's like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna call you right back." He called me. He was like, "Hey, listen, call this lady, put your resume into this site." I do it. It wasn't even 24 hours. They had to call me back and was like, "Hey, you want to leave? You want a job?" And I'm like, "Listen." They was like, "When can you leave?" I said, I could leave Friday. I mean, this was like Wednesday.
Right.
And it's like, listen, not that fast. I was like, "Listen, I'll get closed whenever I get to where I'm going. I need to go now." I just didn't like the situation back in Pensacola. And once you get that first paycheck, I was like, man, I wish I would have been doing this years ago. Years ago. You know how much money I would have if I would have started back in 2007 when they were really making the big bucks and they really was trying to get me to go contract. I didn't start in 2012. That was like the tail end of the big money. And once I got accustomed to not really having no responsibilities, I felt more like I was back in the military because you're working with people who go through the same stuff as you. Most of the people you're working with were prior service or they were either military brats. Cost of living was so low. I'm just stacking money. I didn't really have nothing to spend it on. And I mean, like I started contracting in September 2012. I probably had about $30,000 worth of debt. Ain't even gonna lie. I paid everything off by December. I took a nice vacation to Dubai for Christmas. And at that point, because I was supposed to go back to the States. I had signed enlistment. Well, I was about to sign enlistment to go into the Air Force. And the recruiter called me. He's like, "Hey man, we got all your waivers signed by the general. Ready for you to sign your enlistment." I'm like, "Man, I'm on my way to Kuwait, man. I'm literally on the tarmac right now." He said, "Okay, well, I can hold it off for a year." And I'm thinking, okay, I'll just stack some money, pay off my debt, stack some money. I'll come back in a year. A year later, he called me. He's like, "Yo, you ready? You ready now?" And I'm like, "Man, I think I'm gonna need one more year."
Right.
He's like, "Okay, I can extend it one more year." The next year he called me. I was like, "It's not gonna happen, man. I have to go back to doing PT in the morning, only having 2 weeks of vacation time, and the check gonna be kind of small." I was like, I'm gonna stick with this. And then I've been in it for like 10, 11 years now.
Man, that time flies. Somebody asked a question to you. Shout to Nasty Time. Nasty Time says, "Can we still go work overseas?" He said, "I did 11 years in the Army."
Yeah. The brother, one of the other brothers that was on here, he said something about networking.
Yeah, Will.
I learned networking from my best friend growing up, his mom. That was her thing, was talking to any and everybody. I mean, if she was at a red light, she's gonna speak to the guy in the motorcycle next to us, and next thing you know, she's invited to the governor's mansion. That's the thing. Contracting is the same way. It's a little bit about what you know and more about who you know. Yesterday, I had my mentor called me. He's like, "Yo, man, I got like 3 jobs right now. I can put you in right now, and you're good." And I was like, "I don't want to go back to Germany." The jobs are out there. In fact, I would go to say there's more jobs available now than there was 5 to 10 years ago. Because like I said, when I came in 2012, it was kind of the end of that big money wave. There was people having regular jobs. I mean, at the MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Center, they're the ones who have the computer labs, they run the gym, stuff like that. It was people getting paid $65,000 a year just to pass out towels. There's no skill involved. You just, as people come in the gym, you hand them a towel. And you take the towel back when they leave the gym. And that's $65,000 a year, tax-free. Most skilled jobs are paying around one something. The stuff with medium skills, 150. A highly skilled job, 200, 240 easy. And that started coming down around in the 2012, 2013 time frame. So you have people who have been making 2, 3 something a year for 10 years. These people are millionaires, and they don't really have bills. So now the money they start paying less and less for these jobs. These people like, well, I don't want to do the same job I've been doing for, if I've been making $200,000 a year to do this job, I'm not going to do it for 100. So it let a new wave of people come in.
Right.
And it's even more now. So it's a lot more job vacancies now. Plus you got these wars, so they're about to kick off, and the military and these companies, they're preparing for that. They're opening up new bases all in Germany and Poland. They're about to open Philippines back up. There's so many jobs available.
Saw Ronin's face. I just saw Ronin's face.
All over the place.
They opening up the Philippines again, huh?
Yeah.
Just dropped the link.
That's what I'm trying to get on.
Your spot. Boy, that's your part of the country, part of the world for life.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's just a great life. I've been trying to get my daughter's about to be 21 in November, and I'm like, I just can't understand. Like, hey, listen, you be under 21 and you be making more money than everybody in your family. I'm like, if you do what I tell you to do right now, by the time you're 32, you'll be a millionaire. You know, but people don't listen. My daughter, like to say, my daughter, she won't listen. Some of it's people scared to go out there. You know, when I first went to Kuwait, everybody was asking me, "Oh man, you're going back to the Middle East, man. You got Al Qaeda and all the other terrorists out there, and the Muslims." And I'm like, they put me in a sky rise. I had never been in a building. I probably had never been in a building other than like the Crown Hotel in Pensacola. I had never been over like the 7th floor. That was like Pensacola. It's not like we don't have that.
Come on.
So when he put me, they like, this is your condo, and you're on the 18th floor, and it's got granite floors and marble countertops. I'm like, this is me, and y'all are paying for this. And I look out the balcony, and it's like Rolls Royce, Bentley, Lamborghini, Mercedes, G-Wagons all up the block. And I'm telling people, I'm not in no danger. I'm not. In the malls, the Middle East, the malls, oh my God. They have real gold in overlaid in the floor. They got Swarovski, how do you say that word? Crystals in the chandeliers in the mall. Like it's great living. You know, they got everything. I'm like, there ain't nobody shooting each other. There's, you know, you go to the mall in the Middle East and all the Jordans, people trying to kill each other. In America, sitting on the walls collecting dust.
I see you shake your head, Fearless. Do you have an experience in that part of the world? Because you've been in a lot of countries.
Yeah, but I know some friends who, I know a guy who was a police officer. He left, and I think that this was when they were doing the military, I guess, security over there. He was just doing security. And he was making $130,000 a year. So as a police officer, he was making 50. He went over there and made 130. And I'm almost sure it was like tax-free. And I also know a guy that was doing, and this, look, Dubai or places like that. Don't think you have to be in military service or anything. There were guys who were like construction workers. Like, I'm a mason and I'm this. They were going across to Dubai making a killing. And they weren't, you know, I guess you didn't have to pay taxes. It was all tax-free while you were living there. And they just made a killing. And they put in their mind that they were going to do like 5 years or something like that. And they figured in that 5 years, you know, because you're going to get taxed at 30% here in the States. And that 5 years was like working 15 years in the United States. So they say, I'm going to do 5 years. I got savings. They still gave me a per diem for food. I was great. And they come back and they got all this money. And they still got a skill level because they've been working.
Yeah. Right.
Here's the thing about something about wealth and living. You know, it's not, in my opinion, it's not enough fact, it's just my opinion. It's not just about how much you actually make, because there could be a person making, and I can give you a prime example. I had a job making $100,000 a year. I had a cousin that lived in LA. My boss said, "Hey, listen, your cousin got this skill. Tell him I give him a job right now, $100,000." I call him. He said, "I make that right here in LA." I say, "But you don't get to keep that $100,000."
Right.
We both make $100,000 a year. Mine is tax free.
Exactly.
You paying probably about $30-some thousand in taxes off the top.
Plus sales tax, plus state tax, plus property tax.
You're below 70 off the rip. I have a nice condo, and they're paying for all the utilities,
all expenses.
Your rent his rent was like $2,800 a month, plus his utilities.
Mm-hmm.
So how much that is? So now he definitely under 50, under 40.
Right.
They pay for my transportation to and from work. He got to pay just to park his car, like $300-400 a month just to park his car, plus gas, plus insurance. Now he's probably under 30.
Yep.
Then you got insurance. My insurance, if anybody know what Seiko Gold is, it's better than TRICARE. You pull out that gold credit card, that gold insurance card, and whatever paperwork they put in front of you, they just pull it on back and say, "What would you like done?" You can literally go schedule your own MRI. You don't even need the doctor's note for it. I used to do it. Like, you know what? I think I need a CAT scan. Whole body. Make sure I got no cancer.
Whole body scan. Yep.
And then food. My food is gonna be a lot cheaper than his food. At the end of the year, he'd be lucky if he saved $5.
Right.
Before, just personal stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like when you contract them, all you got to do is bring your toothbrush and buy some toilet paper. And it depends on the contract you got. Some contracts, they may even give you a food allowance or a clothing allowance, or whatever you negotiate or whatever that contract's allow. But regardless, our $100,000 wasn't the same.
Right.
Because at the end of the year, if I really wanted to, I could have kept 95. If I really pressed it out, I could have kept 95 of my 100.
Wow.
Right.
He'd be lucky to keep 5 of his 100. So it's about how much you make and the cost of living and where you at, you know.
Yeah.
And then like how much your that 100,000 stretch.
Mm-hmm.
My 100,000 stretched pretty far in Kuwait, but I'm in Thailand. 100,000 here, that's like making 300,000-400,000.
Top 1%.
Yeah, you know, and people have to factor that in, and then lowering your debt. Lucky for me, I've been debt free since 2012, the end of 2012.
That's a blessing.
You know, and I never want to have any more debt.
Have you been able to motivate anybody to follow your blueprint? I know for years you've been trying to tell guys to come. Have you had anybody that actually did what you know as time progressed? You like, man, I remember this brother in 2013 I talked to, man, and he doing great now. Have you had any success records or stories?
I've had, I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably only had 2 people actually did what I told them to do, and then did it, and then like they was like, yo, I wish I would have been doing this years ago. I wish I would have listened to you the first time you said it and not 4 years later. You know, I think a lot of it is unfamiliarity. You know, people get complacent or comfortable. A lot of people think they're in a better spot than they actually in. A lot of people don't realize that they're broke. You know, I'm from Pensacola, where people thought if you got $14, $15 an hour, that was a good job.
Right.
And that's not. I still got boys like that. A lot of the times where I'm trying to explain to them about the money, and they didn't see it because, like I said, I'm debt free. I didn't really buy stuff. You know, shoes. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a shoe freak. I got way too many shoes, but I don't really wear them, which is another problem with being that. You know, I lived in Kuwait, and most of the time I travel was to different countries that have wet weather, so I didn't really wear my shoes like that. I wasn't buying cars and a lot of jewelry.
Right. You weren't
so
keeping up
they
with the
didn't
Joneses.
see how I'm spending that $100,000. So in their head, I didn't really make it. I didn't buy a house, and you know, because I wasn't gonna never live in it. You know, I'm pretty much. Hey, I'm living overseas. You know, so in their head, they didn't. You know, when a drug dealer has money, you see it, but you don't see Bill Gates' money.
Nope.
When you see Bill Gates, he look like a regular guy.
Yep.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Absolutely.
regular guy. I mean, they got their big stuff, their yachts and their mansions, but when you see them, typically they're in a regular car, they in some regular clothes, they're not flying flashy. You don't see it, but they got it.
Warren Buffett, the same thing, drives an old Mercedes.
Yes, he does. I saw him pull up in his house the other day.
There's a picture that they showed of Jay-Z when he was broke and when he had money. And when he was broke, he had all everything.
Saw that one.
He got money. You regular person wouldn't know.
One other thing to that, I think the reason why a lot of people don't take these jobs and go overseas, females.
That was a hindrance for me. I have to tell you, that was a hindrance for me when I first got out of the Gulf War. You know, they were doing serious overseas contracting, and they were guaranteeing $250K a year. You could fly your family over there. They would put your kids in private school. They would give you a home. They would fly you home twice a year for vacation on their dime. She didn't want to travel. So I stayed in the United States. Wow. So yeah, I can see a lot of guys turning that down strictly because of a wife or a significant other.
I can see that. I can see that.
Aaron. What it is, I think and I was the same way. You get out of high school and you think your life just started. There's a book, if any young people are out there, that you should get. It is called The Defining Decade. And what it's talking about is, and I got an excerpt, it says the decade between your 20s and your 30s is the most defining period of your life. The choices you make during this decade will have a profound effect and impact the rest of your life. And I think that's so true. You get a chick pregnant at 18, things change. Get in trouble, don't do something, all of those things change. If somebody was 18 and they said, you know what, I'm taking 10 years. I'm going to go overseas and I'm going to make this money. Imagine, Dre, if you could go back to when you was 28. We think it's, if you 18.
I was in the feds at 28, man. I was still doing, I had 3 more years in the feds to do.
But we think that's where you're coming from. Something, man. If you could go back there, it's like starting all over. So I think somebody 18 thinks their whole 10 years. Oh man, you do something, you go contract, you make this money, you make that change. That could set you up. There was a gentleman who told me when I was going to school, he said there's 2 things. You can work hard for 4 years and skate the rest of your life. Or you can skate right now and work hard the rest of your life.
Yeah. My man Aaron says this real quick, gentlemen, with the super chat. He said, this is Aaron from Thailand. He said, I started contracting overseas 2004 to 2019. I just dropped a link for you, Aaron, to come up for a split second if you want to speak on this topic. And the reason why I asked Ja that question, because out of all the years that he had been putting in the chat, I know at least me personally, I know at least 2 years, me personally putting in the chats of the WhatsApp group of different job opportunities that were available for guys to take advantage of. He always was transparent about the economics. He was always transparent on how fast you could leave. He was always transparent on what type of jobs that were out there. And yet I didn't hear about anybody in the chat taking advantage of it. And that's why I want to hear, had he had any success stories. And he said that is only like 2 people that actually, if that, took advantage of it. Shout out to my man Aaron in Thailand in the building. Shout out to you being here, Aaron.
One other thing I wanted to say about why people don't do it is I think people think that they have to really have a real skill set. And you don't. I do crypto communications, like SATCOM, satellite navigation, stuff like that. And anybody who is in the military, any of these guys know in the military, know that you have a TM for any equipment that you use, and for any procedure that you do, there's a book. And it's basically, in these books, is built for a person who don't know nothing. A caveman can follow instructions in this book and do this task or work on this equipment. We had people who were in the military who was artillery, tankers, working in the commo section, because you can teach anybody to do it. It's easy. It's just repetitive motion for the most part. So I tell people all the time, you don't actually have to have skill, because these contractors, the recruiters, they get paid when they put bodies in slots.
Exactly.
I've been times I've been on the phone with a recruiter and I'm telling the recruiter, I don't know. And the recruiter's like, say this, basically, or you know what, I'm gonna put you in for this anyway. Because even if you do know how to do it, once you get hired on with the company,
they're gonna train you.
Yeah, they want you to do it their way. They want to kind of, if you got the basis of it, they want you to keep the basis of knowledge, but everything else, and they want to kind of delete everything out your head, and you do it this way. And I think a lot of people think that, oh, I can't get this contracting job or this government job because I don't have a skill that matches that, or this is not what I've always been doing for all my life in my other jobs. And you get a lot of people they get hired on, like, come work in my shop, and they done lied. They ain't never seen this equipment before. They never touched it, don't know what it is, but they there. So I took lie. I'm the right lie. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is lie. Filling those, make your resume look good, and match the job that you're trying to apply for, and lie. Once they done hired you, you got there. They ain't gonna fire you because you know how to do it. They're gonna be like, okay, we'll teach you how to do it.
They just need a willing participant.
You don't actually have to know beforehand, you know. And a lot of the jobs are just really depending on what type of company and what kind of contract you're on. You may not be doing nothing. They may have Indians or Turkish people there that doing all the work, and you just supervise. They just need an American there to oversee or something. So that's why you there. You just there because you working with the military. The military don't want to talk directly to the workers, and you're like liaison between talking to them. Or you just making sure they do what they supposed to do. Or you there to sign your name saying they did this work.
Someone has a question for you, Ja. Before we get to Aaron real quick, he said, "Can we ask Ja if 100% of veterans still do overseas contracting? How do we find recruiters?"
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know guys who are that are retired from the military. Some of them are retired from another civil service job, getting 100% disability, got some rental properties, and working contract. They're literally killing it. I knew one guy who was doing all those and taking advantage of the GI Bill.
Yeah.
Before his paycheck, he was probably pulling in almost $15,000 a month before a paycheck.
Yeah.
Because you get the school money, and then the school money might give you a housing allowance or something. Or they may buy you some of those programs, some of those school programs give you they may give you pay for your books or buy you a computer or whatever. You know, like he was killing it, you know.
Yeah.
Before we go into go ahead.
I was just going to say that's huge insulation for anybody. You know, when you have that many income streams coming in potentially, and you haven't done one lick of work yet.
True. That just kind of piggybacks off of what Timothy Bright just said. Proverbs 19:20. Listen to wisdom, accept instructions, and in the end, you will be wise. A lot of guys don't do that. But I see my man Aaron had, and therefore Aaron was able to enjoy. See? How you doing tonight, Aaron?
Hey, hello everybody in the room. What's
Salute.
happening?
All right.
Hey, USMC as well.
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi to you. Japreem, where you at?
I'm in Pattaya, Thailand. I actually live in Pratumnak.
Okay, I'm in Pratumnak.
Okay, I'm at the Vision.
Okay, very well. Hey, Dre, great show. Fearless, man. I like everything about you. Your presentation, your rhetoric, everything is good in it. Hey, look, man, I started contracting and found it after I gotten out of the Marine Corps in 2004. Was in Kuwait, went to Iraq, and recently did Afghanistan when they shut the bases down and let everybody come in and just take everything a few years ago. But yes, it gave me the opportunity to leave the United States. I stayed in a spot called Jabria, and I did one of those passing out towels jobs. I was MWR entertainment coordinator for the region of Kuwait for a number of years. I did housing, I did supply, anything that they sent money my way. They tell me on my resume, hey, you got this on your resume. Maybe you'd be good for this. I'm like, well, I know a little bit about that, but I'm better over here. But no, whatever was going to send that money in and bring those checks in, those, was it 5-figure checks? Those $10,000 checks, sometimes $12,000 checks a month. And sometimes you get paid in three times in 1 month. So who's not loving that?
I know that's right.
And John said they pay for my food, they pay for my transportation, they paid for my housing. Sometimes I got spots with another employee, and then other times they gave us a stipend where I could turn around and actually live on the economy myself. Of course, you're not doing that in war zones such as Iraq and Afghanistan. But other than that, it's that tax-free money can't beat it.
That's so true. So true.
But here's the other thing, and my man Ja elaborated on it. I did all those things. I bought cars. I wasn't a jewelry guy, but I spent most of my time going on vacations when the company would actually give me days off, and then we turn around and had religious holidays. I would combine 1 or 2 of my vacation days with 3 of their local holidays to turn around and go on vacation. So I got at least a minimum, last time I counted, 32 countries under my belt, where my passport has been, so 32 countries that I've actually visited on their dime.
Let me ask you gentlemen, something. Is there a age expiration date for guys being able to do this type of contract work, or is it per job basis or depending on the recruiters?
Go ahead, John.
Not really. But like say when I was living in Kuwait, the country of Kuwait had end up enacting an age limit. I want to say it was either 63 or 65.
Correct.
I believe that once you hit that age, you couldn't be a foreigner and come work there. If you was already there, I think it was grandfathered in.
Some of them were grandfathered. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, John. Correct. And that enacted some 5 years ago, like from 5 or 6 years ago, when they put that out for health reasons and those type of things. I forget what was going on at a particular time where they put a stop and hold on allowing people to come in. There was 60 years of 60, 61 or something around there. At that age, they stopped letting or hiring people of that age.
Yeah. So different countries have different laws. So you working with under the U.S. government, federal law and work laws, and then the work laws of that country. I was just before I moved back to Thailand, I was just in Germany for 2 years, and you had different tiers on employment, which basically adjusted your pay, right? Mm-hmm. So I was considered a test employee. So to be a test employee, you're gonna get paid more, your housing allowance more, but the German government is saying to be a test employee, you got to have a skill that we can't just put a German or European national into that slot. So to be a test employee tended to be more older guys. I was probably one of the younger ones. you know. So you have to work the different contracts to work around the different work laws of that country too. So, you know, I don't know. You may go to Singapore, and Singapore may have some type of weird laws on it. They may have a minimum age. You know, some countries have a maximum age to come in and be able to work in that country. There may be a country or two that have a minimum age. It just depends.
That's a good point. And so, as you guys were saying, civilians could be doing some of these contract works as well as you were talking about the police officer that you knew, Fearless, and other guys that, because like I said, when Ja was putting in the recommendation into the WhatsApp groups, and I know I'm kind of harping on this, but you know, all of this is starting to come back to me over being in the group for those years. He wasn't just talking to military guys. He was talking to just about, hey, anybody looking for work, I'm telling you guys, they hiring, and you can make this amount. He was going through he was letting us know, informing us of what opportunities that were out there. And a lot of guys, like he said, not everybody took advantage of it. So I just want to emphasize once again for the audience to hear that some of the new people that may have walked in, that you don't necessarily have to have been in the military to be able to take advantage of some of these contract jobs. And the reason why I knew, because I was kind of like, when Plenty of Fish was out. I mean, when Black Planet was out online, right? Mm-hmm. And so I met this sister on Black Planet, and she was a government contract. That was the first time I ever heard about it. She was just a regular civilian sister, and she would go out, she told me, she said, I've been out there for 3 years. And this was this had to be like 2006, 2010. And she would say, I would go out, make my 100,000. She said, I would come back home for a minute, and then I would go back out, make my 100,000. And when I met her, she had just come back from contracting. She had just come back, and she knew that I was nothing but, just entertainment, because she was about to head back out there and make more money. And that was the first time I heard it. So the second time I heard it was years later. That's when Ja was recommending guys to listen. The opportunities are out here, and that's why I'm kind of glad that Ja came up, because I wanted him to speak on this, because he spoke on it for so many years. And at the same time, I wanted him to encourage some of you guys in the comment section that are struggling back home in the States. And I'm glad Aaron is here as well to let you guys know that these opportunities may not be as lucrative as they once were, but they still are lucrative, as well as tax-free money, and you can get your foot, back into a life of living outside the United States.
And you said it. We talked about this before. Your 100,000 is not my 100,000.
Talk to it.
True.
That's it. That's $65,000 is 100% tax free. And the last I checked, it was like 97.5 thousand or something like that you were tax exempt if you turn around and lived out of the country.
I think they moved it up to like 103 or 105.
Actually, ours is for 2025 is going to be 126.
Yeah, I've been out of the game since 2019
for the tax exclusion.
Mm-hmm.
For 2025 is going to be 126, because it kind of goes up like a cost of living adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
See, but what I try to tell people, a lot of the benefits is not just in the money you make.
The money you save
is the money you're able to save. The extra benefits, the insurance, how cheap insurance is.
Right.
When you're working as a contractor, because you have to have an international insurance, and it works in most countries.
True.
What the brother before me said, I travel a lot. I like to travel. I'm one of those guys. I'm going to use every bit of my sick time and my vacation time.
Facts.
And I mentioned they have to work off the work laws of the host country also. So I was in Kuwait for 7 years. Kuwait has a lot of holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And you was able to finagle. I remember one time I went on a 2-week vacation, only used 2 days of vacation time.
Wow.
Yeah. My last year that I worked in Kuwait, that 1 year I was actually on trips out of the country. I want to say 68 days out of the whole the year. Now you only get 30 vacation days.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about the days where we had weekends, 2 days off, 3 days off, and I just stayed in Kuwait. I'm talking about I was actually out of the country 68 days out of the whole year.
Wow.
Just finagling my sick time and my vacation time.
And still stacking cash. And still stacking
cash. Like I got to a point where I was at my credit card, I could just swipe whenever I felt like it. I ain't have to look and see what's in my bank account. I ain't had to move no money from here to there.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, because I didn't have no bills. I had no debt. I know I'm getting paid every 2 weeks. And I was just flying all over the place. You know, the vacation time alone, you know, like I just can't go back and work a job where you got 1 week of vacation time for the whole year. I was like, come on, man. You wasn't built to just go to work.
Yes.
Your body cannot take it. I knew my body cannot take this till I'm 65. I can't do it. And mentally, I can't do it. You know, I won't even take a contracting job if it's less than 3 weeks of vacation time for the whole year. Just the vacation time. We ain't talking about sick days. My last contract in Kuwait, I had 48 sick days. Paid. 48.
Hey, that's the what I want you to say. That's the part I wanted you to get on back on there, John. Tell them those vacation days, they paid.
Yeah,
they paid. You didn't get you didn't get the percentages per se. You got straight money, but you got paid to be on vacation.
That's insane.
When I worked in Iraq, we had to leave. They made sure we got out of country. We had to get out of theater. We had two 14-day vacations, and then we had one 21-day vacation. With us like 45 days or so, something like that. And man, I was gone. Every time I came back to the States for the 3-week vacation alone, but the other 2 vacations, I was hitting some other country, whether it been Thailand. I hit Thailand a lot now. That's why I'm here. And all those other countries, man, I've been, I can't even say it, but hey.
See, but there's a caveat to the whole vacation thing and going home and tax-free. You can't be in the States over a certain amount of days. Normally you have more vacation days than you're allotted to be in the States. Once you're in the States, it's either 33 or 35 days out the whole year. Then you tax everything you made.
Yep.
Hell no.
Yep, that's true.
I would never go back.
So
that's why
you have
so
much vacation time. You got to go to other countries. And I tell people that all the time, like, hey, listen, take this job. Well, I got a family. Listen, you're gonna be making so much. Fly them to Dubai, meet them in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Fly them to Costa Rica,
stay out of the continental United States,
Dominican Republic, or Canada, wherever, and meet them there. You have enough where it's cheaper for you to fly your family to where you're gonna be at than to come home and tax it. And they will tax it, because I got a homie. I kept trying to tell him, I'm like, listen, man, you're going to the States too much. They're gonna hit you. Uncle Sam, child support, IRS, they come for their money. And he didn't believe me. He called me one day crying. So he had to send him a check for $28,000. Because that's how much he wouldn't have paid in taxes, was $28,000.
Hard head, make a soft tail.
So imagine handing somebody a check for that and you're not getting a car. You ain't getting
no down payment on a house.
Hope she was worth it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a question Nasty Time has for Ja. He said, how do we take advantage of these jobs? Can we get a consultation from Ja Preem?
Unfortunately, I don't do consultations because it would just take too much time, and I'm not in it for the money. But I do, like in the chat rooms, I give out my information for free. I want everybody to take advantage. I would say right now, two of the best or two of the easiest companies to get on with as far as contracting would be Vectrus, VETRUS.
Because somebody in the moderators look that up, look those up.
VECTRUS.
That's
and
it.
Hey, Aaron, could you drop the link to that in the chat if you don't mind?
I got you right here. I'm about to put it in. I see it.
Okay. Well, what's the other ones, y'all?
Amentum, AMENTUM.
All right.
Those are what kind of contracts those are?
Support
contracts. Yeah. So like in I think they probably changed the name of it now. In Kuwait, it was called Apps 5. I think they changed it to something else. But you got
EPS.
You got maintenance contract and support contract. So the maintenance contract would be a contract that you got mechanics, supply, people doing all types of basically the same jobs you would have done in the military. As like I guess like a maintenance battalion or maintenance brigade, working on equipment, making sure the equipment is up and ready for the soldier or the warfighter. And then you would have a support contract, which would be kind of like MWR, people who run the library, all the stuff that supports the soldier being on a base. And whatever job they have on a base in America or in the military, they're going to have it overseas. Every base pretty much has the same thing. They are certain guaranteed jobs they're going to have. They're going to have an MWR. They're going to have some type of IT department. They're going to have some type of security. They're going to have some type of HR. Probably some type of food service. You got mail room and a post office, which are two totally different things. What else? And those are easy jobs. I mean, you could get in with a supply. If you worked at Walmart, the system they use at Walmart is basically the same system the military use for their supply. So you just gotta word it. If you've ever worked at UPS, the post office, FedEx, DHL, you can get on with the post office overseas or in the mailroom. I had a cousin. He was drowning in Atlanta, and a position opened up at the mailroom at Camp Arab John, and I did a little finagling, little favor for the guy who ran the mailroom. He's like, "Yo, just tell your cousin put the resume in." He kept lying to me. It was like $72,000 a year just to work in the mailroom, not the post office. The mailroom got to be the easiest job on that base. And he wouldn't put the resume in.
Wow.
You go pick up the mail in the morning.
What stopped him?
Sort it during the day and distribute it in the evening.
What stopped him? Please don't say a female.
I think they missing out on something when they leave the state.
Well, that is too good. I think it's too good to be true.
No. Hear what he said. Say it. Go ahead and say it.
He think he was living better than what he actually was going to be. So he had an apartment with his frat brothers or roommates or whatever. They didn't even have heat.
Oh hell no!
The engine in his car had been blown. He said he wanted to work on his music career. I said, listen, take this job. Come over here for a year. Stack up. If you really wanted to, you take this 70. It was like 70s, somewhere between $72,000 and $78,000 a year for the job. I say, spend 10. You can go back after a year and you could buy your car, right? And at that time, he could have bought a condo in Atlanta for like 50.
Yeah.
I guess
This
he don't.
back,
They
this
got
back in
music.
like 2013,
Wait.
2014.
Yeah, he could have produced his own album.
Yeah, they got studios in Kuwait.
I say there's guys in Kuwait. They rent out another condo, and they have full-on studios.
Mm-hmm.
It looks just like what Diddy would have.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you literally have money to burn. The way
my
you're
friend,
making it over there.
my friend in Kuwait just he's been doing music over there for a number of years. He's working a job 10 years, has an Ethiopian wife and a couple of kids, and just did a show over in Bahrain with another friend of his doing music, making his own music. You think they don't have studios in Kuwait? You think they don't think they have studios in all these other countries here in Thailand? Absolutely, they do.
Andre, how many times you talk to people about a limited mindset?
Yeah,
man, that's you see me shaking my head over here.
Yeah, they
You
support
see me
our
just
culture.
shaking my head. I'm just so it just man, it's just so disappointing to sit back
You know
and
the worst
see
thing
me.
about it?
Go ahead.
My best friends in Pensacola, I come home and I be looking at them waking up early. They can't go out at night, or they tired. And I say, listen, y'all should be pissed off that I could come home and I'm sitting around. I'm just chilling with my nieces and nephews, and y'all going to work, and I still make more money than y'all. My unemployment be more than what y'all making.
Mm-hmm.
That should piss y'all off. It should piss y'all off. I'm like, I don't understand why y'all want to work hard.
That's right. We had a thing overseas. If you're working hard at a contracting job, then you're stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sitting around. The easiest jobs ever is government contracting and working for the government.
Right.
Actually, it's working at the government. Like once you hit your 90 days, right? You damn near got to kill somebody to get fired.
Yeah, you can't fire you. County jobs all the way up to government, federal.
But you gotta understand,
Government
those
jobs are the easiest jobs to work.
You can't go over there with that limited mindset and not be on time and not do the job. That's not what you really have to do the job because you can. They are at will employer, at will. That means at any point in time, whether the contract goes down, they need limited bodies now. The most things that companies spend on these overseas jobs is on labor. So to turn around and actually save money and make it profitable, they're a company now, and they're traded. Honeywell and those particular companies traded on the stock exchange. And if they get rid of labor, then their money goes up and their profit goes up. Right. You know, they may not get awarded the next contract. They got a 5-year contract, and they didn't do the first 2 years well. So the company, they get rid of that particular company, and they start bringing another company in. So thus, like you said, when Jay said the money started drying up, that's because, you know, you've been out there for a while, and those companies bid lower. So if the lowest bidding company comes in and gets the contract, and they can't pay their employees the same thing as the previous company, you know, so that's when there's no loyalty in the contracting game. So whoever pays me the most money, I'm going to that particular thing. I'm a prostitute. I'm whoring this money. I'm opening my legs to who pays me the most.
You're valuing your time.
I'm valuing my time. If I'm giving you time for money, I want the money. It's real simple. And I go get something else. My clearance is still good. And everything else that's just a key thing. Some of these jobs right now, they're not even letting you come over there without a clearance, you know, and some of you just need a high school diploma. But whoever pays the most money, that's what I'm going to.
Mm-hmm. Hey, John, may I ask your age? What's your age?
I'm 58 years young.
Ja, and what is your age, Ja?
I'm 42.
So my question is, and I know you're saying you're going home to your friends, and I try to convince this of people. If you 18 and you come back home when you're 30, you're going to see half the people in the same place that you left them.
Amen.
They're going to be doing the same thing. Nothing has changed. Same home. Nothing. Probably got worse. So I don't know the mentality that you're scared to leave or scared to go somewhere where you can change your life. You stand home to be with these same people who weren't doing anything when they were 16, when not 18, not 20, not 21. And they say, if you look around and tell me 5 of your friends, I will tell you where you're going to be at in the next 5 years. So all your friends are losers.
Yeah.
You're going to be a loser.
Here's the thing about part of the money aspect, and like what I see in a lot of my friends back home. The other brother, Aaron, said it's no loyalty in contracting. You got other companies that will steal you away from the company you with. My first contracting job, when I got there, I was my first day in orientation, and somebody had said my name out loud. Some guy walking past the top, he said, "You're Jamal Gundy?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I've been waiting on you to get here. Let me offer you a job right now." Because he'd rather poach me from another company and save the money on the shipping of shipping me over there. Right.
Exactly.
I have a lot of friends back at home, and they'd be like, "Oh, I've been working with this company for 10 years, 11 years. I'm just waiting to get this pay increase of 30 cents or 15 cents or 50 cents or $1. And I'm like, bro, you make more money instead of waiting for a promotion. Switch company. Why am I going to wait a year or two for a pay increase or hopefully maybe getting an extra $1 when I could tell the company I'm with, my contract is about to be up, and on paperwork I'm golden, I'm good.
That's right.
You know what? This other company said they'll pay me another $10,000 or another $5,000 instead of waiting for $1 per hour. I'd rather switch over to another company for extra $5,000 on the year, extra $7,000 on the year. If your company don't want to pay you an extra $1, they're not giving you no bonus either. And he knows. Kuwait, everybody get their indemnity pay.
Indemnity, that's right. They got to pay you for all the years.
Country of Kuwait pays you,
and they give you that particular money. And simplify to you, T Mac and Will. I saw you, Trey. I don't mean to steal your thunder, Trey. I saw these Marines in the chat.
No, Marines are in they're here tonight. They showing up.
We normally do creep up on y'all.
The other thing that we have really educated ourselves for years, and it's something that wasn't given to us, and maybe not even passed down. It's what you do with that money. You know what you do. You can turn around and make $10,000 a month, and you're spending money, and you're trying to support everybody. You know, in the club throwing money in the air. You're doing all the stuff that we used to do, and we see as success. Sometimes, you showing off. You got the gold, you got the cars, and everything else. I'm just as guilty of it as everybody else. I had the house, I had the Maserati, I had the Movado watches. I had, but I invested my money as well. I turned around and got stocks, in those particular things. And you got to make your money make money for you while you sleep. And I know Dre can speak on that. The Warren Buffetts and all those particular guys, they don't buy that garbage that we purchase. As Black people and people of color, all we do is consume. A lot of times, so we are the biggest consumers on the planet.
Aaron, I want to feed into that. And that's my question. I don't want to make it a racial thing, but do you see a difference between how African Americans use the military or go into military service, get out, or become contractors than what our white counterparts do?
No, not really. We all do the stupid stuff. Go ahead, Jay.
The one thing I see about it is there's a lot of Black guys contracting. There's a lot of masons, Shriners. My last shop I was working in Germany, we was like 90% Black. And the thing about these jobs is you don't normally do you don't do an in-person interview. Maybe they might be doing Zoom calls now, but a lot of times you didn't even actually talk to the hiring manager. So they don't know what you look like. These guys had gold teeth, tattoos, dreads. I got braids. You know, where in America, you got to go do an in-person interview, and they looking at you and like, no, I don't want this guy based off how he look, right?
Exactly.
But the black people get over there, get these jobs, and they act like it's some type of secret. Like they don't want people to know. They don't want to tell their friends and family. The white people get hired on. They get their son and daughter a job. They get their niece and nephew and the neighbor a job.
6, 7, 8 deep over there. Talk to them.
Yeah, you like, you know, you looking at some paperwork. You're like, oh, Phillips. Oh, that's another guy here named Phillips. Yeah, that's my dad. I'm like, what? Oh, my brother working too. Like the whole family's working. Except the mom or the wife. She back at home.
Instead of flying home, you got them all right there. Y'all just go to a nice little island or something for a vacation. Don't stay there.
I know this before I became a contractor. When I did have friends, I'm talking about friends that I thought we were close. I thought we were good friends, neighbors, went to school together, slept at each other's houses. They get a good job, and you say, "Oh man, where you work at? None of your business." But what you got to do to get on there? No, don't worry about it. Oh, they ain't hiring. Like, you know, but white people different. I told my little cousin, because he's 16, about to turn 17, and we was having a discussion in the house, and I told him straight up, you know, and I know it pissed off some people in my family. Hang with the white people. My mentor is white. He did way more for me than any other black guy in my career community has. I mean, he's literally Jamal, you need to get this certification. You need to go to this school. I'm going to put you in for this.
Correct.
Same when I was in the Army. My mentor was an old white guy. He was doing, I was shamming. I'm trying to skip out on stuff. And he pulled me to the side like, yo, you need to go in here and take this class. I'm putting you in for this class. It's like, you don't see it now, but you're going to use it in the future. I promise you. And I'm like, nah, man, I ain't doing this stuff. I'm getting out the Army. I ain't never working I don't ever want to smell military green ever again. And sure enough, the classes he put me into and the certifications I got when I was in the Army that he made me do is what get me the jobs that I got now. And then my mentor now, he's a contractor. He works in my same career field. He expanded my my resume, and I talked to him yesterday. I talked to him every week. Every week, he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna put you in to get this certification. Take this class, man. It's easy. It's 3 days. This one is on 2 weeks, and whatever he tells me to do, I do it, no questions asked. And that's why the reason my resume golden. And I'm sorry to say, the black men I've been around just wasn't them type of guys. They wanted to hoard the information.
Unfortunately.
You know, they act like your competition. White guys don't act like your competition. In my experience, that's just me. Other people might be different. And in fact, I would go as far as to say is, my dad always told me, "Hey man, you gotta watch out for those white people, the white men. They get you hemmed up." When my dad would turn around and walk in the other room, my mom would say, "It's the ones that look like you got to worry about."
Yeah.
Facts.
And so far, anybody who's tried to get me hemmed up look like me.
For some reason, they think there's only one HNIC that can be in a room at any one given time. And that's not true.
Let me get to these chats and comments. Professor is in the building. Shout out to you, brother, for being here. And he says, yeah, he said, I don't care about race anymore. He said that doesn't fly anymore. And Professor, for you guys don't know, he's in Mexico, firefighter. He's been helping guys who want to be in that field. Instead of just training guys in the States, he decided to leave the States and become a trainer in Mexico. But prior to that, he lived in Chocó, Colombia. And Chocó, Colombia is the blackest of the black state here in Colombia. Ain't no white folks out there. He the only white dude out there living his best life at that time period. So when he says that, he said, I don't care nothing about race. I ain't tripping. This brother is living proof of. I mean, I ain't even been to Choco yet. It's great to see that he's here hearing this, and he helps out so many guys, man. He really does. Let's hit these few super chats. I'm gonna let you guys continue talking for the next few moments, and then we're gonna close this out because I know it's early over there where Ja is and Aaron is in Thailand, and I'm gonna let some of you guys get some rest because you know it's 4th of July, mañana, in the States. But my man T-Mac says this. He said, "Superfy to my I hope I pronounce Simper. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Simplify, yes.
Simplify.
Mm-hmm.
Could someone explain that to
always
us?
faithful. Always faithful.
Always faithful. Okay, to my Marine veteran brothers, he says salute and shout out to other veteran brothers and sisters as well. He said, I am happy, early retired, 5 years, and living my dreams and as others are living their best lives. Shout out to you, brother, for being here, T-Mac.
Shout out, T-Mac.
Yes, sir. And then we're gonna do this last one right here with Timothy Bright in the building. Shout out to you, Timothy, once again. He said, love Crossing Borders channel and chat lives matter. Chat lives matter and chat family. Shout out to you, Timothy. Thank you very much for the support.
Mm-hmm.
In closing, let me get you guys closing remarks. I'm going to start with Ja and then Aaron, because I'm going to let these gentlemen go first, because like I said, I know it's early over to where you guys are, and we appreciate you guys being on here. And I kid you not, I've been wanting to talk to Ja about this particular topic for a minute, and man, you brought like liquid gold, like this stuff that I already heard you say, but you really just I'm going to put this section in the Patreon, and because there are a few people I want to send this out to, because it's just sad to see. I give a perfect example. The reason why I'm shaking my head, because I remember when I first started YouTube with Ace, and nobody was really taking YouTube serious. Nobody was really taking it serious as far as the advice that he was giving for free at that time period. And it was just me. And I was the only one that actually sat down. He came down here, he lived with us. And I sat down with that man for 2 weeks, and I want to learn all the mistakes. I didn't care about just mastering all the good part. I was like, if you ain't around, if I make this mistake, do I push this button or not that button? And so I learned all that. And to sit back as years later, nobody else really took advantage of what could be done. And then you sit back, you see through YouTube and other platforms, Andre and I have been able to create a 500,000, this past fifth year. We're looking like, man, do we just make $500,000 on YouTube? And you sit back, you're thinking like nobody else did it. And so when it made me flashback to Ja, when he was telling dudes, you can do this, and nobody was doing it. And that's why, I feel great to be able to ask Ja that question from this side of one of the few people that take advantage of good advice. And he confirmed that, a lot of brothers just ain't trying to do nothing, whether it be because of something back home or because they fear leaving home. But I'm going to let my man, first of all, we're going to start with Ronin with his final comment. We're going to start with Aaron with your final comments in regards to encouraging guys to take advantage of contract work.
Yep, contract work. And now I'm living my best life over here in Thailand. Don't wait on everybody. One of the best pieces of advice, and like Josh said, a gentleman that I used to work with, he was on his own production company. He used to bring the bands and the groups and the NFL players, Major League Baseball players, and the MWR spot that I did. And he had been living his life over here for a good 15 years with his Thai bride and all that. And when I called him to pick his brain, I called him from Jacksonville, Florida, and I called him over here and said, hey, man, what should I do? Should I bring stuff over here? Should I do that? When I finally decided to sell everything that I own, and move over here to Thailand, he said, Aaron, don't wait too long. Don't wait too long. And I had kept putting it off. You know, you say you wait for the right time, and I got to do this, and got to put mama in the rest home. I got to wait for my daughter to get out of school, blah, 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 and all this other stuff all these blockers to put on. And after a while, I just said, hey, to hell with all of that, and decided to actually make the move and get over here. But my best advice to you is get your paper right. It's not that expensive to turn around and move and live abroad. Just find your spot, find your niche, and don't wait too long. And pick from brothers like Andre and like Fearless and like Jod, who's actually living overseas and doing it. Pick their brains, man, and I'll make your landing that much softer when you get here. I've done it. I've said it. Hit me up, and people who are already there. Make your landing a whole lot smarter. Educate yourself and get out there.
Do you have an email address that you want to share in the chat, Aaron?
I can.
Yeah. Share your information, man. This is Receipts channel. We share receipts. We want to encourage other dudes to be able to take advantage of things. We don't do Pookies, Ray Rays, Nook Nooks, and Keith them.
They're finding their way out here right now too. Unfortunately, some of them are finding that way out here, and man,
yeah, I've been noticing that.
Yeah, man, it's boy, it's like I said, you can't read roaches from everywhere. You know what I mean? You just gotta navigate the cockroaches and keep that going, and hopefully the other like-minded men will pull them into the fold and try to get their mental state as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Make sure you drop your information, because I know guys are going to have questions.
Easy enough.
My man, Ja, you're next, kind sir. In closing, your closing words of encouragement.
My closing words of encouragement, I would say, sometimes you just got to take that leap. I seen a meme that said you miss 100% of the opportunities you don't take. I literally just told that the other day to a guy wanting to talk to a chick here. He just kept contemplating. I'm like, bro, just go. Just speak. You know, it's the same with the contract community or moving. Sometimes you just got to start over. Sometimes it's easier to just start over from scratch with a clean slate. You know, most of my cars have stereo systems in it. I don't got no rearview mirror. And my friend asked me, he's like, you ain't got no rearview mirror. That's behind. I ain't worried about what's behind me.
Come on now.
I'm flying.
Come on now.
I ain't worried about what's behind me. I'm just gonna go. I hit the gas and go. You know. When somebody put out the information, sometimes you gotta shut up and take notes. I'm at an 800 credit score now. When I first contracted, I was like a 3-something. But it was a dude that was working him out in the office in my building, and he was like, overheard me talking about, because I couldn't pay for the trip that I was trying to go on. I didn't have no credit card, and I didn't have enough to be able to pay for the hotel, the rental car, and the flight at the same time. And he was like, let me tell you how to get your credit right. Man, I just started writing notes over like the next 3 weeks. I'm just listening to everything instead of writing notes. And boom, like he the one got me into the credit card game.
There you go.
My mom the other day called me and asked me about a credit card. And I'm trying to tell her what credit card she need to get and how she need to do it. And every minute she's just trying to make me feel stupid. And I'm saying, like, Mom, you called me. You called me about this. So why are you telling me about what some other person did or what this? Call them and ask them then. But I'm telling you what to do because I can show you the proof of where I came from to where I'm at now and how I got over 1 million points and this and that. I can get you there, but you got to shut up and just do what I tell you to do.
Right.
People don't want to listen. And, get out your comfort zone. If you some people just don't want to leave their hometown. My baby mama ain't never been out of our hometown. I don't think she's ever left the state. I don't think she's ever left our hometown. I know a few people like that. Me, listen, I was in the Army. I'm willing. This weekend, we're going to see your family. Next weekend, we're going to see my family. Next weekend, we're going to see Jones's family.
Right.
I'll be on I-10 and pass right through Pensacola when it stops.
Come on now.
You know, because I want to see something new, you know, and once you experience some different stuff and you're able to see stuff from a different perspective, you just realize how you ain't living that good in America. You're not living as good as you think you are. Most people don't realize they are a paycheck away from utter destruction.
True.
You know, and you can change all that by upping your income, moving to another country, taking one of these jobs, and you know, just can't let that fear just take over you. You just gotta take that leap of faith, and it normally pans out. I don't know anybody who, maybe one person who contracted and was like, yeah, I just can't do this. But for most people, they get into that contracting world and living overseas, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing, you know, to be able to start all over again. So my words, take that leap. Don't be afraid, just take the leap.
Dre, can I piggyback for like 2 seconds on that?
Go ahead, brother.
I had an opportunity years ago to host the WWE. Vince McMahon, R-Truth, The Big Show, a couple of the ladies, and something like that. And before every show goes on, we meet with the commanding officer. And in that particular meeting, R-Truth said something very, very poignant. You know, he had his battles with the law and doing everything before he became R-Truth in this big WWE wrestling star. He said he was doing this and that wasn't working, doing this, boom, that wasn't, getting arrested here, put here, and everything else. And then until this one man came up to him, he said, hey man, why don't you try doing it this way instead of that way? And he was kept fighting it, blah, blah, blah. And he came back maybe 6 months later and he was still in that same rut. And then the guy came back to him again. He said, man, change it, switch it up. And he said the biggest thing he did as a grown man and a young black man is allow someone else to give him direction. And when that's someone, he started taking that direction from that other person, is when he started to prosper. So sometimes you got to get out of your own way to be able to turn around and prosper. Get out of your own way sometimes.
Facts.
You know? And he said, I'm giving it to you and I'm listening to you. And he started doing A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and he was on his way. The same with me. When I worked in Afghanistan, I was in there talking about finances and everything else. And this young kid, 29 years old, this is 4 years and 54 years old. He's 29 years old, graduate and everything else. He said, man, you doing this? I said, yeah. He said, what? He took it upon himself to crunch those numbers, you know, crunch my numbers for me. He said, man, if you did this, and sold this, you could live the rest of your life. And I was like, what? And I went home and I did it. And here I am now. I'm done.
There we go. Ronin.
Hey, before we leave this,
John. Go ahead, John.
Before we leave this thread, I'd like to I don't want to put my information out, you know,
okay,
in the social media area, but could you link me and Aaron together on the back end?
Oh, I will definitely. I'll definitely do that.
I'm gonna put it in the private chat on Streamline right quick.
Yeah, there we go. You know how to get to the private chat, y'all? It's right there. It says on the left hand side, it should say comments, banner, brand, and then private chat. You should see private chat right there.
I don't see that. I got an Android.
So do I.
I see one
computer right now,
box that says 4 messages, but
it's all right. Put in the private chat, Aaron, and I'm going to give it to Ja directly.
I'm on it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll get it to him directly as soon as we get done with this. I'll just shoot it straight to you, Ja, on WhatsApp. All right, I got it. Cool. Yeah, let me. Yep, there we go. All right. Especially since y'all in the same area. All right, Ronin, my man. Closing words.
I'm an old man. I'm 56. I take notes.
You too. Why you think I keep a pen and notepad sitting right here?
There was so much wisdom being passed around here tonight. I hope everybody else took notes as well. You know, a lot of knowledge and all these men that are sitting on this panel and experience. You know, so many things were touched on, even with Will the Thrill talking about wills and trust. There's a reason for everything. Most people lose a lot of their wealth in probate court because nobody set up a will or a trust. You know, so that's a priority. When you're establishing your wealth, you need to set up wills and a trust. You know, one living will and one death will. Okay. Because even while you're living, if you're incapacitated, you need to know and give somebody the ability to pay your bills and to make decisions for you while you're incapacitated. Okay. Going into if something happens and you expire, you definitely need a will for that. And then the trust protects the assets of your legacy. Okay. Everything goes in that trust. Okay. Your houses, your cars. Because I'm going to tell you, coming from the industry I came from, nobody appreciates the amount of effort it took for you to put into that legacy. Your kids and your family will tear it up the minute you're dead. They won't even care. Okay. I've gone through so many different presentations of giving life insurance checks and looking at the family fighting over the money, and there was no direction from the person that had the policy. Okay. That trust will enable you to dictate how's that money, aside for just putting in a beneficiary, that's still sketchy. The trust, you can actually put your life insurance policy in the trust. You put your home inside the trust, and guess what the trust can do at that point? It can pay your property taxes for you, so that house doesn't get lost.
True.
While you're worrying about the trust, also get a life insurance policy that's a mortgage life insurance policy. What happens is when you die, that mortgage will be paid by the life insurance policy. But the thing is that life insurance policy depreciates on premium as your property gets paid for. Okay. That guarantees if you die and your significant other doesn't have a job, they don't have to rush out and get a job because the life insurance policy is going to pay off that debt. And the house is going to be free and clear for your kids and your wife. There's things that you have to establish. You have to set up. You know, and once you get those things established and set up, you can be more at peace than you ever have in your life. You know, one of the greatest investment vehicles I can tell you to deal with is everybody go and look up index universal life plans. Okay. I had a mentor in insurance. He said, Alex, I need you to tell, and I used to train a lot of insurance agents. Okay. He goes, you need to allow your agents to understand this. The greatest transfer of wealth that you can possibly do is through a life insurance policy. You can't go into a bank and sign a signature loan for a $3 million, $4 million loan without any kind of assets or collateral. Okay. With a stroke of a pen, you can give instant legacy and wealth to your family members through a life insurance policy. Think about that for a second. A life insurance policy that you barely pay, especially if you're renting it on a life insurance policy. My mind is losing it right now, but either way, that life insurance policy is going to enable not only your family, but your kids and your grandchildren to prosper, you know, right along with that land and that trust. All these things work together to solidify stability within your family legacy that will outlast generations if you do it right. It's all about establishing things in proper order, which a lot of these gentlemen were saying, you know, getting out of your own way, you know, being able to be mentored and taught. In order to be a great leader, you got to be willing to follow. And everybody doesn't know everything. You can still learn something from somebody. So hopefully you've heard a lot of the things that were being said in here. And I have so many other tidbits, man. I can go on for another hour, but I don't want to do that.
We're going to be coming back to a part two of this one. This is, we already thought about this. I thought about a part two about an hour ago.
Right.
Like,
and me and Fearless have a lot of conversations where we talk about it's not about how much income you make, it's how much you keep. And a lot of you gentlemen talked about that and earning it tax-free overseas. But there's ways in the United States, even though you make six figures, in order to keep the majority of that six figures without paying Uncle Sam. This is the game you play when you play with the IRS, is knowing how to write off different liability against your income so it's not subject to taxation. So there's a lot of things that, we haven't touched on that I could, but, I'm going to leave it at, happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. Appreciate it with your family, celebrate it, enjoy it. Tomorrow's never promised, so enjoy each and every day as if it's your last, because you might not wake up.
That's right. That's right. Appreciate you all, as well as we're going to end it with my man Fearless. Let me hear what you have to say, Fearless, in closing
I'm not
words.
Stay long, my brother. I'm going to keep it short for you. Few things. One, this is for the veterans. What I heard when I took my notes were, if you're in the military and you're thinking about disability or something when you get out, keep all your medical records. Make sure you hold on to them. Make sure that when you go to the doctor, you get a medical record there, because it seems that when you get out, they can't find it. Another thing was learn everything before you get out. I think it's just like a job where you leave something. Once you're out, it's hard to get those contacts and find out the right path to do something. So make sure that you learn everything before you get out. Another thing is, don't be afraid to venture out. It was hard for me to believe that there were some military people who were afraid to move overseas when you've lived overseas or been shipped out overseas. It's so difficult. Another thing, if you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. So if you keep trying to do the same thing and you're wondering why your life hasn't changed, that's why. I know we just talked about contract and doing things overseas, and we as a community, as Blacks, we don't want to bring people over. Please don't think that my success means your failure. This is a group of guys that's on this panel that we can all be successful together. Ja, this is for you. And this is for, before I go there, you can never get your time back. So this to the audience, you can't get your time back. For you to find and search and research and do all of this to find out the information they were giving, that's very difficult. That's a lot of your time. So when I say you can't get your time back, don't be cheap. Ja, I heard a lot of people saying they want a consultation. It goes back to what I just said. All the information and valuable things that you can offer, you need to offer. Why I say a consultation? Because a lot of times Black people don't value your time. And we think if it's free, it's not valuable. You can take that same t-shirt that costs you $5, you put that little swoosh on it, and they willing to pay $100 for it.
Brother, when I first started doing consultations, wow, I was charging $50.
Brother, I know. I was about to say about you how you helped me out.
Yeah, the $50, and people weren't appreciating it, and they were taking for granted. They waste my time. I had to reschedule. When I brought that consultation into the mid three figures, all of a sudden the guys that were serious started coming my way, and they were very adamant about the information, and they were appreciative and were thorough. And these were guys that I could network with. When I raised the price, all of a sudden guys that worked on Wall Street started reaching out to me. Yeah. All of a sudden guys that were higher upper echelon retired military started reaching out to me. When it was at $50, it was Pookie, Ray, Nook, and them, and they were not taking advantage of my information. So, yeah, I'm gonna let you know right out the gate. Come with a price for those that will be serious, and so you don't feel like you're wasting your time. Because I can easily tell you that we bring in on an average month at least 4 to 5 figures Just a consultation.
Correct. And even go further. Think about this. To guys
for the
out
last
there,
2 years.
Yeah, they're like, I wouldn't pay for a consultation. Why that? So I was in YouTube. I had some channels, and I met with Andre. And in that 1 hour, we talked a little bit longer than 1 hour, maybe hour and a half, maybe closer to 2. You know how much research I would have had to do and time I would have had to spend to get all the information that he gave me. Affiliate marketing, soundboard, signs, how to market your, Opus clips, all of these ideas I didn't know. He's like, oh, you should do this way. Within that time, we came around and you were just off. You came out with like 20 stories. Why don't you do top 10 of this, the top 5 of this? And he's listing it out. That time that I spent with him was more valuable. It would have took me 2, 3, 4 months of trying to stumble through, trying to find something out. And so please, I told you, I learned my lesson when I used to do houses and I hired the crackhead to go in and paint. And I realized that was the dumbest thing, because then you got to hire the real person right after that and you just wasted your money. So don't waste your money. Use it valuable. Get to the people here that have already experienced it, have already done it. It's going to save you a lot of time. And if your time is valuable, that's how you should do it. Happy 4th of July, guys.
Happy 4th of July, gentlemen. And before I let you guys go, a shout out to the last statement of the evening, which is the best one of all, that kind of summarized everything that we did this evening. Kofi said this. Kofi said, Dre, this might be the best live stream that you've ever done. And dude, it's got to be in my top 3 in 5 years of plus years of doing YouTube and 5 different channels. I can easily say that this is definitely, as far as information, as far as encouragement, you guys blessed me so much. I want to say I appreciate you, gentlemen, for all, not only what you've done for yourselves, but all the information that you guys have been sharing. There are a lot of people that are going to see this replay, and some people, I'm going to chop this up and I'm going to put it into segments, and then after a few weeks, I'm just going to put it into Patreon and let it just let guys that take advantage of the Patreon, because those are the guys that take things serious. Those that pay are the ones that seem to take things serious, and they are going to see the opportunities that are there for them. But he said the best one you've ever done. Great information from the brothers. He said, I just got in on a contracting class yesterday.
Wow.
He said, this confirms that I'm in on the right path. Army, 5 years left. Hoorah. So you guys have really encouraged my goal was to encourage you military gentlemen that there is a life. You can be all that you can be. You can be all American, but you don't necessarily have to stay in America if you don't want to. If you want to, cool, so be it. But if you don't want to, so be it. But you guys, I'm always famous for one of my outros. So this outro, I don't know, y'all has never seen in my outro. So let me give him one of the good ones. We're gonna do Colombian police.
Let me say this real quick. I just have to. Fearless said earlier, 22 a day. 22 a day is a number that a lot of veterans understand, especially ones that suffer from PTSD and everything else. That's how many veterans are offing themselves, unaliving themselves every month. Okay. So I just encourage you, just after, June was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So for all the gentlemen in this room and all the guys that are replaying, if you feel like there's something that's stressing you out, you're having anxiety over some things, go seek help, and for us veterans, please get into the veteran system. Okay. Whether you're service connected or not, it does not matter. Now, any veteran that serves should be able to get into the VA system and have yourself evaluated. At least you have somebody you can talk to and you can get the medical care that you need. That's all I need to say.
All right. And that was very encouraging, very much so need to be said. Let's get ready let's see which outro I'm going to throw out there, since we got special guests. All of them are Colombian. All these are women from Colombia, so I'll bring one back to back. Here we go.
This big biz. Chrome heart got me kissing on his best friend. Put in work, baby, you could be my best man. Sending cash to my account, he investing. Dark shades on when I'm off the Migos. He tryna cuff me like a in a Rico. Moving through this like GTA with a cheat code. He claimed that he love me, but before not a freak. I just wanna dance all night. Can't nobody do it just like I. Boy, you got just what I like. Come on, baby, let's kiss, don't fight. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Just say the word, baby, I'ma get you right. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Ain't gotta say it, I know I'm the one you like. Ooh, damn, so the DJ turn the beat up. Got a white boy who be singing like a Beatle. Claim she getting bread, but I heard she doing keto. I don't do drugs, I'ma smoke a little weedo. I can't chase a man for no paper. Just think it's sweet, I'ma show him now or later. I be getting money on the wake up. He a broke boy, tell that get his cake up. Only with dope boys, they the ones who spinning paper, get your weight up. Told him send an Addy and stay up. She's out here mad, told him assalamu alaikum. Who that 5'5", she don't even need no makeup. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Just say the word, baby, I'ma get you right. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Ain't gotta say it, I know I'm the one you like. Big biz. Chrome heart got me kissing on his best friend. Put in work, baby, you could be my best man. Sending cash to my account, he investing. Dark shades on when I'm off the Migos. He tryna cuff me like a in a Rico. Moving through this like GTA with a cheat code. He claimed that he love me, but before not a freak. I just wanna dance all night. Can't nobody do it just like I. Boy, you got just what I like. Come on, baby, let's kiss, don't fight. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Just say the word, baby, I'ma get you right. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Ain't gotta say it, I know I'm the one you like. Ooh, damn, so the DJ turn the beat up. Got a white boy who be singing like a Beatle. Claim she getting bread, but I heard she doing keto. I don't do drugs, I'ma smoke a little weedo. I can't chase a man for no paper. Just think it's sweet, I'ma show him now or later. I be getting money on the wake up. He a broke boy, tell that get his cake up. Only with dope boys, they the ones who spinning paper, get your weight up. Told him send an Addy and stay up. She's out here mad, told him assalamu alaikum. Who that 5'5", she don't even need no makeup. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Just say the word, baby, I'ma get you right. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Ain't gotta say it, I know I'm the one you like.